We should be live on Twitch. It'll probably take it 30 seconds before it actually does go live. I am hooked up to the correct camera over there. The lighting is strange because I'm on the opposite side of the room because I have a bunch of Bowmim stuff set up on the other side of the room, which is where I'm pointing the camera right now. What's up, Sleepy Developer? What's up, Balj? I'm planning on working on the Bowmim again next week because nothing went well this week. So I don't want to clean any of that stuff up, so I'm just going to leave it sitting out over there. So today, we're on the UE1 side of the room. On this cursed thing. Okay, let me see if I can get Twitch chat and Discord chat open on this one over here. And I'm assuming that everybody's just being quiet. That's why I haven't heard anybody talk.
Did you really crash?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think the stream already crashed.
Yeah, well, hopefully this is just that, like, first 10 minutes thing. We are dropping frames. Something fierce. But it's still, if it's within the first 10 minutes, we kind of give it a pass, right? I actually got to turn the heater off. It is getting warm in here. Creator dashboard. Let me get. That's normal. Yeah, yeah, thank you, Z. Yeah, are we back up on Twitch yet?
Think so.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Okay. Great. Every time I open Discord on this laptop, it has to update. Yeah, Sleepy Developer, yeah, there we go, we're back. Alex Tradov. Yeah, there's something about how Starlink interacts with Twitch that, like, the first 10 minutes is, oh, we just crashed again. So my explanation is going to fall on deaf ears. Yeah.
On the positive, the audio works fine.
Yeah, well, here's hoping, right? OBS said it just reconnected, so. We should be back up.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so Alex Tradov, Teradov, I don't know how you say that. What I was trying to say before it crashed again is there's some weird thing between Starlink and Twitch. Whenever you start a stream on Starlink, like the first 10 minutes, like there's all sorts of crazy messed up negotiation that goes on. And we've discovered that, like, on good days, you know, we'll get maybe one crash. On bad days, we'll get like 5 crashes, but it almost always happens in the first 10 minutes. If we can just tough it out past that first 10 minutes, usually it smooths out for the next 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes we've had it crash midstream, but I don't know if that's to blame Starlink for that. But yeah, we're still only 4.5 minutes into the stream, so the next 5 minutes hopefully it'll smooth out, and then we'll be good to go for the rest of the night. Yeah, Teleknock. Yeah, all you're missing is the mandatory stream crashes at the beginning. And me trying to get Discord installed on this laptop so I can read chat while we work on this, because for the first time in a while we're working on something small enough that I don't have to, like, walk around the room. But this is apparently apt-get is in the middle of doing something else, so it can't install until apt-get finishes. So now it's all just stuck in this dumb infinite loop. But at least I can see Twitch chat. Yeah, if this goes smoothly, I may take the case out to the garage and open up this section right here. So that way our serial card can sit a little flatter. But, man, I'm not sure it's going to go smoothly. We're in a pretty rough spot with, where's it at? Right here. This guy right here. This is a flex ribbon cable that should be not in two pieces. But I did some wet sanding on it, and I was able to expose the copper underneath. So I think I need to do a little more wet sanding, maybe trim it up a little more properly up here because it's still kind of torn. And then expose a little more copper, and then I think we're gonna, essentially, I'm gonna slice up an old floppy disk here for the plastic, and I'm just gonna, essentially, I think tape it to that, and then tape the other side to the plastic, and then just solder jumper wires across. So that way we have, you know, a little bit of flexibility, but also structure to build into.
Are you gonna remove it all from the case to work on it?
Oh yeah, I'm taking the whole thing completely apart as I can get it. Like I think we're gonna need to get these motors removed from the front plate, and maybe even pull off the switches here. I don't know. I need to find a way to like get it to sit kind of flat so I can sand on and solder to the flex ribbon that's in there without having to take the entire reader mechanism apart. We may have to anyways, but I'm going to try to do it without doing that. It's going to suck. Yeah, this is the easy part. Like I can do this one just like sitting on the bench, but that one we're going to have to, that one's not going to be fun to do. But if we can get those connected and gingerly put it back in there, then we got to replace a couple of LS373s. That's Reese Weatherly's job. He'll tell me which ones to replace. And then even without an interface board in it, we should be able to turn it on and get the switches to do something, I think. Yeah, J-Bev, I don't have any Kapton
That's
tape.
what I've figured out.
Yeah. So yeah, J-Bev, I don't have any Kapton tape, so I'm going to use double-sided carpet tape and an old floppy disk. It's kind of the ghetto way to do it, but yeah, Kapton tape is the right way to do it. But double-sided carpet tape, that stuff is incredibly strong. So I think that I can do, if I trim it right, I can do double-sided carpet tape to this thing, and it'll just essentially, it'll never separate from the floppy cover here. Yeah, carpet tape is insane. That's what I use to hold my PCBs down to a block of wood so I can machine them. So I've always got a bunch of double-sided carpet tape hanging around. But I never have Kapton tape because everything I work on is older than Kapton tape would be useful for. Like this is way new for me. And it frustrates me that they use these flat flex cables when they could have just used like a normal ribbon cable. But you know, welcome to the 1980s. All right. Well, I think the stream has started to stabilize a little bit. Yeah, Elston, if it works, it works, right? We're just gonna get these guys kind of out of the way. Here, actually, it's hot. I've got to lose the jacket. It's like 30 degrees outside, but it's hot in this room. I'm sweating. All right, let's get the camera in a little closer here so you guys can maybe see what's going on. And let's get to work. Otherwise, how's everybody doing today?
So far, so good. Hanging in, man.
That's good to hear, Bob. Glad you're here.
It's good to hear, Bob.
Glad you're.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how long apt-get is going to sit over here on this other laptop and just waiting for apt-get to exit, but apparently it's going to be all night. All right, let's take stuff apart. Let's just unplug everything first. I mean, if we can't fix this, then we can't fix it, and we'll have lost nothing. Except for time. But my HP transformer is in here. I'm kind of upset about that. Dude lives an hour and 20 minutes away from me and didn't get it shipped. Won't respond to my messages. If I knew where he lived, I'd have driven down and started beating on his door today. I want my dang HP transformer, man.
I want my dang HP.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to get concerned that like maybe he can't find it. You know, like he listed that listing probably a year or so ago and maybe sold it off or gave it away and forgot to take the listing down or something. I've had that happen a couple times. I forgot.
I know, so have I.
I was buying some car parts once, some old Miata parts, and that happened. It was like I bought it from a dude, and like I didn't hear anything for a week after I bought it. And usually eBay sellers are like shipped the day you buy it, or like hours after you buy it, right? So I didn't hear I didn't get a shipping notification. I didn't get anything from this dude. So I finally sent him a message, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, sorry man, I can't find it. I canceled the order." Just like, God damn it, you know. So I'm starting to get worried that this dude's doing the same thing. I sent him a message yesterday, and I didn't hear anything back all day today. So yeah, could be tough luck on that one. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, though. Maybe he takes Fridays off or something. You gotta come loose too. There we go. Yeah, give me my expletive copper. And where's my big copper? What's crazy is like the dude on eBay has like 100% perfect feedback, and everybody's like very communicative, super fast shipping. I'm like, come on, man, I don't want to be the first person to give you bad feedback. Just send me my stuff.
You know, if he's a little bit from you, I wonder if it got caught up in all of the logistics hullabaloo over the storm.
That would be fine, except that I ordered it last Friday before the storm was even close to being here. Also, just send me a message, you know, just go, hey, sorry, you know, couldn't get it out. There's the storm's really messing stuff up, but it'll be out as soon as possible. Or, you know, in my message I sent him, I was like, you're only an hour south of me. Can I come pick it up? You know, like whatever. Like I understand problems. All you gotta do is talk to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, is the thing sitting like, you know, in town waiting for the storm to pass or some silliness like that?
It could be. I mean,
he didn't give you a notification, but that doesn't mean he didn't ship it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that like maybe he shipped it and it just, you know, I didn't get the notification, or he didn't update the notification or whatever. And, you know, it got caught up in, you know, because if he's shipping it from there to here, it's probably got to go to like San Antonio or Austin or Dallas and then back down to here. It's probably got to take a route that's 4 times longer than the actual distance between us. But it's you know, it's just like the total lack of communication is what's bothering me. Just like the, you know, didn't update the shipping, didn't send me a message, didn't respond to my message. I'm just like, come on, man. It doesn't take much to just be like, sorry, it's on its way. You just let me know that you didn't scam me, you know? That's all I'm asking. All right, here's where it gets tricky, because I want this thing to sit like that. I wonder if I can stack stuff up underneath it. What I need are 2 little blocks that I can set it on. Because I can't get this front stuff off, so I just need something I can set it on. All right, let me see what I got. Stuff that's stable, equal height. I'm gonna step out of the room for a second. You guys should still be able to hear me, even though I'm outside. If you can, say something.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. It's just like, I don't know. This is the first time I've stepped outside while wearing the mic today, and we might be on the internal mic. What am I looking for?
Speaking of mics, is my audio okay or am I quiet?
You're a little quiet.
You're a little quiet.
Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. A thing of Centurion blue and PDP white. Two cans of paint. That's now my workbench.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a little bit better.
Let's
Alright.
hear if we can hear you sing this time.
No, I only sing when it's funny to do it. No, I have a analog mixer board, and so I have to be careful with my levels. If I turn it up too high, it gets really hot quick.
We need to get you on a tube amplifier and really distort it. Get that gnarly sound in.
Oh, I used to have an outboard effects box for this, but that had to go away to pay medical bills a while ago.
Right. Let's take you. I'm gonna get this thing here. Rotate this. Set you like that. We're just gonna put a little bit of water on that guy. And then tear this and make it smaller. And now comes the really tedious part of today's stream. I need a solid, just wet sanding Mylar. I guess that's Mylar. Whatever it is that's covering up the copper. Until one line and 5 questions, the 5 questions, 2 essays, and nuts to that. Misleaving feedback. I stopped when I started requiring me to leave. Yeah, every time you buy something on eBay, they want you to write a dissertation about how it went. Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I just have like a boilerplate thing that I copy and paste into the review,
Yeah,
as long as it's acceptable.
yeah, if they didn't mess it up, I just write fast shipping, excellent packed, thank you. That's it for every review I leave.
I think I usually wrote something like A's and pluses go here or something like that.
Package not exploded. Good.
Yeah. Was the XKCD package did not contain a Bobcat?
Yeah.
Oh man, this takes forever. But it's the safest way to do it that I can think about. Because I don't want to go through the copper. I just want to get to the copper. I think I have a good chunk exposed over here. All right, we are gonna, I mean, I already did this one earlier. That was just a final hurrah. And I'm gonna slice a little bit off of the edge here because it's all torn and gross. And I want a clean edge on that. I don't want to have anything shorting out. There we go. I'm going to slice this edge a lot smoother too. All right, I think that's clean enough for me to get solder onto. Probably need to do a little more on this far edge over here, expose a little more copper. Yeah. Just right over here. This is the easy one. I'm not looking forward to that one that's over there.
Do you have enough room to put a block of wood or something behind the other one to sand it?
Yeah, I need to. I haven't. I was gonna put like a little piece of metal under it because that's the ideal. But I need to go grab a piece of metal. I just wanted to see. Yeah, I need to put like a little something right there so that I can keep it flat. And I want this one to get out of the way so I don't accidentally break it. Yeah, and this one's all ragged on the edge here. I may have to trim that. Let's just give that a nice little trim right now, actually. Just taking off the raggedy bits. There we go. Now we got a nice, clean, smooth edge. And we may have lucked out in that it tore in a productive manner. Or am I going to slide underneath that? All right, I'll be right back. Try and find a chunk of metal. Or a chunk of something. You know what? That'll work. There we go. Some PCB offcut. I don't know how much you guys can see of the part that's been damaged. I'll try to get the camera a little closer to that, I guess. Oh, the copper is so bright, so reflective that you can't like hardly see what I'm working on. Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like there's anything exciting to see anyways.
I drove past an A7 Corsair 2 yesterday.
Oh, excellent.
There's a static display in Fallon along US Highway 50 near Walmart.
Okay. There's one actually that's a static display just like a couple hour, an hour about south of here on the way to Austin that I pass every time I go visit Mike or June. I mean, the engines are obviously out of it, and you know the canopy's all painted over, so I imagine all the stuff in the cockpit has also been pilfered. Yeah, it's a really looking plane though.
There's another one nearby at well, not quite nearby. It's about 10 miles away at NAS Fallon, and there's one at Lemoore also. The one at Lemoore, a tornado ripped the wing off of it in 1996 in November.
Ooh, it's still on display despite having a wing ripped off.
Oh no, the airframers went to Davis Monthan and got another wing and repaired it.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, they had a tornado come through the admin side of the base. Actually, it started out on the road between ops and admin, followed the road down, went off the road just before it got to the admin side, went right across the power substation and ripped that up, and then went and ripped the roof off of the transient barracks, and went right across from there and did a little damage to the main admin building and ripped the wing off the A7 and dissipated.
Jeez.
So just because it's the Central Valley of California doesn't mean there aren't tornadoes.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the F-111 that's parked outside of Texarkana hasn't been hit by a tornado. That's like Tornado Alley.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I posted a picture under general if you want to look at what that plane looks like.
Apparently, I'm still
Google Street.
waiting for apt-get to exit to install Discord on this thing. I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe apt-get has crashed.
Oh boy.
I don't think
That's weird because I'm trying. You go ahead.
I was saying I don't know if a tornado would move an F-111. They're too damn heavy.
Yeah. It's not a small plane, but it's got a lot of motor behind it.
We have a static one here at my local airport.
Oh,
The small airport where the small airport in the little town where I grew up early on had an F4 Phantom as their gate guard. I guess it was there up until 2024 when they had to remove it because metal thieves kept cutting parts out of it.
near the Idaho Falls airport, there is the prototype of, what do they call that? The Thunder Chief? Thunder Thud? No, Thunder Chief, I think it was.
Thunder Screech, the thing with two
Thunder
propellers.
Screech. The Thunder Screech, that's it, yeah. They took an 81 Sky Raider, an A1D Sky Raider, and replaced the R3350 radial engine with a turboprop, but it generated so much torque that they had to put counter-rotating propellers on it.
So that was built at the small airport I'm talking about. It was Republic Airport, which used to be Republic Aviation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they I'm sorry. We built that loud thing here.
Oh, it was insanely loud, but it was also very fast, and they were worried it might try to go supersonic, which of course is bad for anything with propellers.
Yeah, I mean, you got to worry about keeping the tips of propellers under supersonic speeds as is.
Well, the Russians said screw it and just went supersonic with the tips. That's why they have the Bear. What plane is that? I forget the actual name.
Tupolev
is that-
95.
Yeah, you can hear it coming from very far away.
why the F-14 was invented to shoot those down.
So the last, that's one of my favorites. But the last F-14 that ever officially landed, landed at Republic, and the Navy immediately ripped everything out of it. And it was mounted on a plinth outside Calverton, where the factory was. I think it was just recently moved to a museum.
We were looking
Yeah,
at the
that's because of Iran.
we were looking at the accident reports for A7s, and there's some like as recent as like last year. It's kind of crazy. There's some people out there that are still flying A7s.
Private or like states?
At this point in time, they're all for air shows, pretty much.
Okay.
But they're all for like foreign country air shows, because some foreign countries had A7s in the rotation until deep into the 2000s.
Damn.
Yeah, they used that plane for a long time.
The U.S. Navy transitioned away from them in the early 90s.
Yeah, and then we sold them to whoever would buy.
True. The Slough was a nice little plane. It did what it was supposed to do and had a really revolutionary avionics in it.
The A7?
I think
Yes.
It's funny because Dad goes, it was kind of crap.
Well, it was new, so there were some bugs, but
Yeah.
the first like integrated radar guidance type systems were in the A7.
I remember he talked to some people that use the terrain following radar, so you could go like low altitude fast at night, and he was just like nobody ever trusted it. It just seemed like the most dangerous thing ever, because every once in a while a plane would just disappear because it ran into the ground.
Well, and they were also known that if it wasn't fairly smooth terrain, they would make you puke. It was like the worst roller coaster ride ever.
Yeah, he said that too. It was just like nothing, no smoothness at all. No PID loops or whatever. Right? It's just like you're going up now, you're going down now. All right.
Did he Did he fly the F-14s?
No. Dad only ever flew A4s and A7s, and then a slew of other trainer craft, but A4 and A7 were his primary thing.
Navy and Marine Corps attack pilots are a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. His like one of his stories, I've heard it probably 100 times, but it was like two guys were doing low-level flying in a valley, and they kind of came around a bend and straight into fog. So they both just pulled straight up out of the fog, because that's dangerous. And the lead guy said he felt a shudder in the stick, but otherwise, it kind of, the plane still flew all right. But when he got out of the fog, the canopy was green because he had flown through the trees. And there was like a tree sticking out of the fuselage. There was like limbs and stuff embedded in the fuselage. But he flew it. He got that plane all the way back to the boat, landed on the boat, and the guys on the boat were like, "Why couldn't you have just ditched it, man? Like, now we got to keep this thing on here and get it back so they can just take it apart because it's not savable."
I think one of the craziest stories I heard was there was a Hornet in the first Gulf War that came back with a surface-to-air missile through one vertical and one horizontal stabilizer
Oh, jeez.
that didn't detonate. So they took it and loaded it onto the elevator, started unbolting those two control surfaces from the plane, removing all the cables and everything. And then when they got to the point where there's only a couple bolts left, they backed it up on the edge of the elevator, removed the last few bolts, and let the control surfaces and the missile fall into the water of the Persian Gulf.
And that is now unexploded ordnance on the bottom of the ocean,
Yes.
of which I imagine
That's
there is
probably
no
not what
shortage
I-
of.
Yeah.
But that's assuming that the water pressure didn't detonate it on some point on the descent.
Yeah. Or crush it enough that it'll no longer ever be able to detonate.
Now,
Yeah,
now the
as far
impressive,
as- Go ahead.
I was going to say the impressive part was that less than 24 hours later, that plane was back flying sorties.
Yeah, man. Those guys know how to fix a plane, man.
It was all bolts.
Okay.
It was all just bolted on new
Right.
control surfaces.
As far as battle damage, I once personally saw the aftermath of one of the local crop duster guys struck a post that one of the farmers had installed without telling him, which is a no-no. And he flew to the small airport I was taking lessons in at the time, and there was a hole in the leading edge of his left lower wing that was big enough for me to stand up in. And so somewhere in one of his photo albums, my ex-instructor has a Polaroid of me standing up through the hole in this guy's wing. But what this guy did with this was he went into the FBO and he got their broom and he unscrewed the handle from the broom, brought it back out, bought a roll of speed tape from the shop there, and speed taped the broom handle in place at the leading edge of the wing, then reformed the rest of it as best as he could with the remainder of the roll of tape, and then he flew the thing away.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Those crop duster planes are ridiculous. They have an incredible amount of power for the size, and they're also, I mean, they're huge planes, but like it's the equivalent of like putting a 302 in a 32 Deuce coupe, right?
Yeah, because you're going to be hauling a hopper full of chemicals and huffing the chemicals all day is how those pilots get the way they are. The only guy I ever knew that was crazier was we had a guy that did helicopter primary training. Most people that want to learn to fly a helicopter learn fixed wing and then transition to helicopters. This guy just took ab initio students as helicopter students.
Honestly, that
And
might
there's
be.
a lot more ways to.
Yeah, I mean, a helicopter is incredibly dangerous, but it might be. I mean, I feel like there's some benefits to doing it that way, because if you do fixed wing, you go into helicopter training with some kind of preconceived notion about how an aircraft should react, and a helicopter won't do any of that. So if you go in without any fixed wing training, you're like fresh, and then you learn how a helicopter reacts firsthand without anything coloring that. The downside is that a helicopter will straight up murder you, and then everybody else. Like, a helicopter takes no prisoners.
Yeah, the helicopter is constantly trying to get out from underneath you. Flying one's a pain in the neck, and I only did it for about 15 minutes. Most of his students, though, did it because not doing the fixed wing training makes the whole thing a whole lot cheaper if you're just trying to get a helicopter license.
Okay. Woodchuck 1993, you walked into us talking about, what's up, man? You walked into us talking about helicopters and airplanes while I sand the Mylar off of a broken flex ribbon cable so I can potentially solder bodge wires to it and repair it. Yeah, I think I'm just about to the point. I've got almost enough copper exposed that I think I can start tinning these traces. I should get my soldering iron warming up. This one here on the end, I don't have a whole lot of copper exposed on it, but I've got a little bit. If this works, I will be blown away. Yeah, that's enough. I've got copper exposed on all of the traces. I think we are good. Yeah, apparently apt-get has just died. And I don't know how to make it stop doing this.
Sudo kill all app.
Yeah.
Xkill?
Yeah. All right, whatever. Let's just do a reboot. Maybe it'll let me do a reboot.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Discord to run enough on my Core 2 to get to the text chat. It is not working good.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? All right.
Hey, one
All
night
right.
if you ever want to do a Linux repair, fix your computer
Linux.
thing, we could do it. I'm no expert, but
A Linux dev stream.
I use it every day for work.
You poor bastard.
Well, not dev stream. Oh yeah, but remember, I'm using it to make Linux systems, so I'm making it worse.
You are the problem. You're the whole problem.
It's okay. The stuff I do is embedded. You don't know Linux is in it. It's hiding.
Yeah. This is gonna look fun. I'm pretty sure I just cut the top off of a disk. Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's fun. I don't think that one will read anymore. Oh my gosh, the camera, it's so black, the camera doesn't know what to do with it. There we go. That's fun.
Yeah, the inner tracks will still be readable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. All right. What I really wanted was I want the plastic. And this was some Wang disc that somebody gave me once upon a time because they were like, oh, I think this probably has some Wang Rider stuff on it. And of course it doesn't. Because the Wang Rider was a pretty weird and rare system. And Wang had so many other systems. But I archived them anyways. And they're just not good discs. They weren't taken care of. So it does not hurt my feelings at all to be slicing this one up.
Yeah, it's for greater good.
Yeah. I forgot about the soft fuzzy thing on the inside. But I don't think that'll be an issue. We'll just make it face that way. All right, I got some thinking to do here. All right, well, first of all, let's see if Discord will install. Or if it's just going to give me another waiting for apt-get to exit. This is a giant
Is there much in the way
mess.
of dirt on that fuzzy thing?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Doesn't look too bad.
I always was curious how much dust and crap they collected.
I imagine they can't collect actually all that much. Because if they did, it would just you know, if there was visible dirt on there, it would just destroy the disk.
That's true. I guess it's just what's falling on the exposed window.
Put you like, say, those were pretty close to each other originally, but we're gonna put it about, say, like there, maybe. That might make it awkward to plug in. Yeah, I think we'll do it about like that. Apparently this thing is just not going to install Discord tonight. It says configuring NVIDIA DKMS-535. Ooh.
Oh, it's NVIDIA.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to draw out. Oof. What I got to cut for my double-sided tape here.
That's funny.
Yeah, the NVIDIA driver being updated makes me wonder if it got half of an operating system update or something like that mixed in with Discord's update.
Yeah, who knows? There we go. The installation was successful.
I had to reinstall.
Oh, you're installing Discord using app?
Yeah, it's probably not the right way to do it.
I didn't even realize there was a way to do it through app. I would like, because it's just always, it's annoying because it always whenever the new version always nags me to install it. It's like, and then I have to manually install the dab with D.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. What I'm doing. I'm manually installing the dab. I just double clicked it.
That shouldn't drag in. That shouldn't drag in other packages then. If actually, I don't
know what to tell you, man. I'm just reading what it says on the screen, man.
It can drag in other packages if it has a dependency, and there happens to be a newer dependency outside of the local package you're trying to install.
If you're I didn't even think that was a thing that you could just install a loose package, because if you just invoke dpackage directly,
yeah, Mike, it's meant.
It won't drag in other packages.
Yeah, no, you can mix local and well, how do you think Debian package development works? You have to be able to install your local prototypes to test them before they get pushed to the repository.
Oh yeah, Z, you're on Mint now? I forget which one you're on, Z, but how's your Linux journey going? You're on Mint, yeah. It's been solid. All right, that's good to hear. It's a journey, that's for sure, especially coming from Windows.
Remember, apt is a front end for dpackage, so it's not like you're using two different methods to do it.
Oh yeah, I know that. Like, but when you invoke dpackage directly, it won't try to satisfy dependencies. It'll just fail if you give it something with a dependency that isn't yet installed.
Yeah,
that's why you
most people they want.
Z, what is Chicago 95 style? Is that like a desktop environment?
Ooh,
I don't know what that means.
I'm actually using it right now.
Oh, it makes it look like Windows 95. All right. Dang, I might have to do that.
Chicago was the code name.
Yeah. I can post an image of at least what mine looks like in Discord.
Yeah, if you post it in the Friday night Twitch channel, that's the appropriate place for it.
Yep.
So I'm one of those weirdos that came from commercial Unix before Linux, so I've always used CDE lookalikes, and now that it's open source, actually CDE.
Did Unix
don't know,
ever
I don't
have a
like-
desktop environment? I feel like Unix
Oh,
was
yeah,
always
there's
command
that.
line, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah,
there-
well,
no,
that's
there
what
were-
CDE is. Solaris, HP, UX, and
Oh, okay, okay.
most of them
Oh, okay, okay.
had the common desktop environment, which was CDE, and was common to commercial Unixes. Linux never had it officially until very recently, just a couple years ago, when CDE was open sourced. They were built off the Motif toolkit, which Motif wasn't a window manager in the way we think now, not like CDE is. It was a UI elements toolkit, and Linux never had that either because Motif was closed sourced. At first, we had something called Less Teeth,
Less teeth.
and
That sounds like a
yeah.
sounds like a redneck problem.
Yeah. Well, Linux people were differently creative in the 90s. I've been pushing Linux uphill since the 90s, and I'm tired, boss.
Yeah, and before X11, like workstation Unities all had their own proprietary Windows systems, and most of them. There's some just started off with X, but yeah, there were quite a few that had their own custom Windows systems.
Having been a Solaris guy, I definitely have a soft spot for CDE.
I used to have a copy of Ultrix old enough that it had X10 instead of X11.
It'll be like 2.0 then, somewhere, because 3.0 I think already had X11.
Honestly, I don't remember.
Well, yeah, like I've got an image of Ultrix 2.0 with X10 on it, not like the official one. It was just because that doesn't seem to have been imaged. Well,
Has anybody used the figureless less teeth? That's what it sounds like to me. But has anybody tried using the that one didn't cut very well, huh? The Haiku OS that Action Retro is a huge fan of?
I've played around with it a little.
Okay. I was just curious what it was like. I mean, I like the idea of a super hyper lightweight operating system. But if you can't do anything with it, then how useful really is it?
Yeah, that's the
That
issue
was
with.
the problem I had. Is it was just very limited, and also like driver support wasn't great. Because I installed it on a Pentium 3 and it did not have that good of driver support for a bunch of stuff.
Needs to be trimmed down a lot more.
Yeah, hardware support definitely is an issue, like for a lot of alternative OSs. I mean,
driver support is pretty terrible in Linux too, if we're being honest.
That's fair.
It's certainly improved a lot since the late 2000s. That's when it's way better than it used to be.
All right. There we go.
I gotta have respect that you can use AMD cards from 2011 that still get some newish drivers.
All right, we are gonna trim this guy up just a little bit here. It's nice, clean, exposed. I mean, yeah, that's impressive. But then again, I have a top of the line AMD card from 2018, and it took me a right proper battle to get that to work with DaVinci Resolve on Linux, whereas on Windows it was literally plug and play. So, there's something to be said. Like, we all like to dog on Windows, but Windows does a lot of stuff right, particularly driver compatibility, because I never had driver problems on Windows 10 or 7 even. I would just plug stuff in and it would just flat work. as soon as I went to Linux on the laptop that I'm streaming on right now, I could not get a driver that worked for my Wi-Fi card. So my Wi-Fi card, yeah, it functioned, but it was like limited to like 100K up and down. So it was like I was back in the mid 90s. And I'm like, it was a top of the line laptop from right before the pandemic. So it would have been like 2019 that I bought this. So it's not even like a 6-year-old laptop. And I had to buy a new Wi-Fi card, take my laptop apart and put it in order to get Wi-Fi to work correctly on it. And I'm just like, but on Windows, same laptop with Windows, 0 problems with the Wi-Fi. Worked perfect every time, no matter what. And I had Windows 7 and Windows 10 on that, I think.
So there's a thing with that. The most Wi-Fi cards and graphics cards, for that matter, you know, they don't have a source you can build. They give a binary encrypted blob, and it ends up being up to the company. If the company that manufactures it or manufactures the chipset doesn't feel like spending the time to support Linux, unless there's, you know, some crazy community person that wants to figure it out, it doesn't get supported because there's just not enough information out there to do it.
Yeah, the problem is that the Linux people seem to think that should be the user's problem, and the user does not care. They just know that their stuff doesn't work. They don't care why.
Yeah.
They don't care whose fault it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've always they've always had, it's always like, yeah, leave it to Linux people to like to be purists on the stupidest of things. Like, it's always how it is.
Well, that's the thing is
Linux people are purists, they're purists on something really stupid.
Like, and the Linux community is very adamant about you should switch to Linux immediately because Windows is terrible. And you go, okay, and then you switch to Linux and you go, how come half of my hardware doesn't work? And it was literally plug and play on Windows. And they go, well, that's a you problem, not a Linux problem. And you're like, well, hang on a sec.
Yeah, and the biggest problem is, and a lot of people assume you just have endless amounts of time to do it. Because I remember to get the laptop I'm using Discord on now, I had to spend 2 or 3 days to get the Wi-Fi drive working. And most people just don't have that time to spend.
Or care. Like, most people aren't super users. Like, if you're talking, like, the thing that, it's such a weird dichotomy because, like, the Linux users want Linux to be a mainstream operating system. They're like, it's so great. We want people to use it, and we want people to enjoy using it. And then the moment that something comes up that isn't plug and play, they go, oh, yeah, all you got to do is hop into the command line, go to your user folder, type this in, then follow that up with this, and then follow that up with this. And the average person is like, scared of the command line in the first place, right? And so there's no way you're going to convince somebody like my mother or my brother to go into the command line just to get their Wi-Fi card to work. What they're going to do is they're going to go, well, Linux, or they're going to go, well, Windows is a pain, but at least it works, right? And then the Linux guys all go, I don't understand why more people aren't using Linux.
Yeah. The issue with Linux is that it's developed by a bunch of disparate groups who don't work really closely together. That's like where a lot of the issues with Linux come from. And also, the architecture isn't really conducive to making a coherent system. Like, if you
that's not completely true because it's when you say Linux, there's the Linux kernel, that's a dedicated large group of people that headed by Linus himself, who's now building guitar pedals for fun, but they're doing everything they can to keep things compatible. That's what half the rants you read from Linus are about. When people do things that break compatibility with older software and screw things up, he pushes back hard on that stuff. But they're not giving they're not creating an operating system. It's just the kernel. You have the distros, Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat. A lot of the compatibility and what packages they include and everything else comes down to them. And then the third layer is the community. And that's where things get toxic. A lot of those are the guys that just don't remember what it is to be a beginner.
Yeah.
And that's they tell you to jump in the command line and they don't get it.
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't get those kind of problems if like the kernel and the user land and like a reference distro were all developed by the same group. You would be much less so with in that case.
But that's
like
also Microsoft. If you want your hardware to work with Windows, you have to pay Microsoft, and Microsoft will test it, and it gets the Microsoft seal of approval, and you get you're allowed to include your driver in Windows without having all the annoy screens pop up and block the average user from installing it. There's not really a way to do that in open source. Maybe that's something we're missing.
I don't know if you necessarily would have to go quite that far.
Well, somebody somewhere has to try, all the variants of hardware and say, hey, this works, this doesn't, and figure out what it takes to make it work. Like in the case of Dave's laptop, that Wi-Fi card, if it didn't work, find a driver, try to set up some method to get it working at more than 100 kilobits.
It might even be the user land being stupid. Who knows? Just setting it up wrong. I don't know. I've never had that kind of issue.
But
I got a new laptop in August, and I put it came with Windows 11, but I backdated it to Windows 10. The only issue I've had is that I can't get a new driver for the wireless, so that means I can't use a Wi-Fi hotspot. But in every other aspect, it works fine.
The Windows 10 was a pretty good system, actually. Like I was happy to run Windows 10. It was just the Windows 11 is the issue. I really did not want to go to Windows 11.
And at least to me, the early builds of Windows 11 before they added all the AI stuff wasn't horrible. To me, it was a downgrade from Windows 10, but it was still tolerable. But now that they've added all the AI stuff, it's just gotten worse and worse.
Yeah, I keep seeing news articles.
A security risk too.
I keep seeing news articles that are like the AI companies are like, we gotta get more people using AI or the bubble's gonna burst.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Do you know why they're pushing it so hard?
Because they got a bunch of money invested.
I strongly expect that the only thing that will keep OpenAI in business is selling off all the DDR5 options that they've purchased in advance.
Yeah.
With how the market has changed in August, I think I got my new laptop at just the perfect time. Because with how expensive RAM and solid-state drives are now.
Oh my gosh, I keep dropping this wire and it is so thin, I can't see it. So soldering on one side of this is going to be a breeze, no worries at all. Soldering on the other side is going to be a legitimate problem.
Is that blue thing in your hand some sort of stripper?
Yeah, this is a wire wrap tool, but it's got a stripper in it that's specifically meant for this kind of wire wrap wire. I realize there's about a 15-second delay, but you'll see it on the stream here shortly.
I actually found with that wire wrap wire, you can just strip it with your teeth.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous about doing that.
Yeah, well, I've got enamel on the wire, but I have no enamel on my teeth, so I don't think that's an issue.
I keep my nails long enough to where I can strip the wire with my nails.
Yeah, the issue here is going to be trying to get these to not short out with each other.
Yeah, it definitely does look a little tricky.
Well, it's very tight. The wire is thin enough. My hands are not steady enough, though. And I'm pretty sure I also can't see. I need like a magnifying glass. I got a cell phone.
Didn't you
I
have
do
that,
not envy this job.
Well, that doesn't help any at all. Okay, yeah, we're it's not pretty, but we're good on that first one. Yeah, this would be a perfect use for my microscope. Potentially.
You have it out, or is
Don't
it?
you-
There's something up with it, or more importantly, I don't know how to use it is the bigger problem. Like I couldn't get it to, couldn't get the zoom to make sense on it. Like the only way I could get it into focus is if it was so far zoomed out that it was practically not a microscope anymore.
Hey, if we strike out on this, we could always show you how to use that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean that was a legitimate thing that I was thinking about, is that because it is a trinocular microscope, so I can use it as a video input, right?
Yep.
But I was like, I don't know how to. I'm pretty sure it's just HDMI out, and I don't know how to convince HDMI out to be an HDMI in on my laptop. I'm pretty sure the laptop only has an HDMI out port.
No, you need a dedicated capture card.
Yeah, and I don't have one of those. So, and I have a
You
laptop.
can get them. You can get them for the USB 3, quote unquote, that are actually USB 2. You can get them for like $20.
Oh, okay.
And they actually work decently well.
Yeah, I need to figure that out, because having a microscope is kind of pointless if you're filming videos and you can't film what you see in the microscope. All right, let's see if I can get this second
You
one.
could always you could always plug a monitor into the microscope and point the camera at the monitor.
Yeah, I suppose that's an option as well.
Nice thing about those cheap cards is they're UVC devices, so they don't even need a driver; they just work. Even on Linux.
The reason I was in Fallon yesterday to go to Walmart was they still had some Samsung 990 1 terabyte NVMe drives priced at fairly reasonable prices. So I went in and bought them.
Immediately caused a short between two things. This is going to be very tedious. I can see it.
Do you have Flux?
No. All the things that I should have for all the stuff that I work on, I don't have. Because I don't buy stuff unless it's like desperately necessary. And my solder is
Flux is one of those things.
My solder is one of those, is a rosin core flux. So I generally don't have a problem, because again, I don't work on stuff this friggin' small.
It's one of those things that, I mean, I didn't use it for the longest time too, and it's life-alteringly good.
Yeah, this is one of the situations where I need it, actually. All right, I'm pretty sure that that's 2 out of 4,000. So we're making progress. Oh man.
You probably went over this earlier, but is that stuff particularly brittle now? Like, what's going to stop it from breaking in another spot?
Stop what? Oh, the ribbon cable?
Yeah.
Nothing. It'll absolutely break again if I'm not hyper careful around it. It's just
I think it was more of a tear, wasn't it? Just because
yeah, it was a
there's no
tear.
slack
It was
in-
yeah, there was no slack in it, and I forgot to unplug it when I was pulling the front plate back, and it just tore.
Got it.
It was 100% my fault. Like it wasn't a design fault. I mean, it's one of those things that wouldn't have happened if they used like regular ribbon cables as opposed to this terrible junk. But no, the reason it tore was my fault. This is starting to get real tight. Oh, great. I attached one and removed the other.
I know you're not going to see it, but later on tonight, get to take a look at it. They have the circular connectors like you see on some of your computers. Nowadays, those things terminate to flexes, and I put a cursed picture into the chat.
Oh, screw that. Yeah, Woodchuck, this is not for the spectrometer. This is for a paper tape reader that we've been trying to get working for like 3 months now. Every time we make some bit of progress on it, I do some incredibly dumb thing that destroys it.
At least it's not the last whatever in existence.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. At this point in time, it's sunk cost fallacy. We've got so much time wrapped up in it that I kind of want to see it to completion.
Well, and it isn't like you didn't receive it already blown up.
Yeah, it was already 12 volts had been crammed down 2 of the data lines, which had fried the CPU, the UART, the one of the IO chips, a bunch of the LS373. It's like it was in pretty rough shape. All right. Let's try again.
You ever taken apart a SLR or a DSLR?
I've taken apart a lens for a DSLR. I dropped mine, which cracked the front face on the lens. It was one of the zoom lens, and it shattered the zoom gear on the inside.
Oh.
So I took the whole lens apart to get the shattered zoom gear out, and then I just leave it in manual only now. Manual focus only. No, it wasn't a shattered zoom gear. It was a shattered focus gear. So if you put it in autofocus, it sounded like shaking a box of marbles, you know. Yeah, so I took it apart to get the shattered gear out. Now if you put it in autofocus, you just hear the motor whir and it never actually gets into focus. But if I just leave it in manual focus, I can still use the lens.
Hey, you got out of it with a working lens. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as sharp as it used to be. I think something got slightly jostled out of shape, but it mostly works. I've used it in videos and nobody said anything, so.
Some of the I've opened up cameras and opened up lenses over the years, even back to the '80s stuff, and there are some cameras that are just origami nightmares of it's all flex.
Yeah, that one was rough, but none of the flex was torn, so
Yeah.
it was just a matter of being cautious. All right. All right, I think we got
hate
3.
Flex cable.
Yeah, when we're done with this, I'm gonna go get a hot glue gun. If it all buzzes out, I'm gonna go get a hot glue gun and just hot glue the ever living hell out of all that. Yeah, Jay, yeah, if it works, we're potting it in hot glue immediately. I hate hot glue, but there are some instances where it's smart.
Just make sure the hot glue doesn't melt the damn ribbon.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I'm putting quite a lot of heat into this ribbon with the soldering iron, and so far it seems to be holding up.
It's usually capped on.
Yeah, I actually think I'll have an easier time of it once I get past this, the first 5 here. Because the first 5 are all side by side, but once I get down to the last 10 or so, I'm at a severe angle. So I don't have to worry about one wire running into the next wire as much. So I think I'll have an easier time once I get past these first 5 ones. I mean, I already got more done than I ever thought we would get done on this thing, so we're already ahead of what I thought was possible.
Don't jinx it.
Yep. Somebody knock on wood. I don't got any near me.
Near me. That was what the thud was.
Oh, that was you. All right. Let's get this one back a little bit and put you right about there. Nope, that's a bridge. There we go. All right. Once I get them done, I'll go through with, I'll take a picture of it with the camera and we'll go through, I'll post it up and we'll see if anybody can spot any bridges that I'm not seeing. Great. Just dropped my wire again. All right. Whew. Jeff Bridges. Which, yeah. Wood is in the name. Oh, JBev, Mrs. Usagi was looking at your cat pictures and almost fainted from how cute that cat is. It was the one that you were looking at the monitor with. The bumblebee. There you go. Burb time. All right, let's see. Let's get this guy lined up. Oh, nope, that one came loose. All right. Let's try again. This is incredibly fiddly. Probably super riveting to watch. He says with all of the sarcasm in the world.
It could be worse. That's what my grandfather says when we're watching cricket.
Dang. This head came loose again. I need cricket. That is a sport do not understand. Partially because I've never tried to understand it, I suppose I should say.
About a year or two ago, I saw on the TV show Jeopardy, they put up a picture of a cricket ball, and not one of the 3 contestants tried to identify what it was.
Sounds about right. Yeah, we have no clue.
They didn't even guess.
Yep. I think I could probably identify Aussie rules football. I had an Australian coworker that was super keen on Aussie rules football, so I watched some of it with him. Not that I understood it, but I watched it.
I think I don't know much about football, but I think the primary difference is that in Aussie rules, their uniforms don't have sleeves. That's all I can make of it.
The biggest thing that I noticed about Aussie rules football is that it's barely control. It's like a barely controlled fist fight. It feels like. It just feels like everybody is out to hurt each other as much as humanly possible. And they're doing crazy things like I think it's called a DAC or something, where like they'll hike they'll like literally pick a dude up like 6-8 feet in the air so that they can catch the ball or something. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Just basically the same level of violence as hockey, just warmer with no ice.
Yeah, and less armor. Like, at least the hockey guys have pads. The Aussie rules football dudes, they're just like out there in t-shirts, just like beating each other up. Although I do love
there's
that.
A lot of head injuries.
Yeah. You guys always have head injuries. I do like, though, that in hockey, they have all this armor on, and then when they get in a fight, they're like, to do the sportsman thing and take the armor off so I can punch you straight in the face.
Then take the gloves off.
Yeah. It's not going to hurt if you get hit somebody with the gloves. They got too much padding in them. You got to hit them with your bare knuckles. Whoo, boy, that smells like chicken. Right. So touching your finger with soldering iron is not a great move.
Oh, I knew I had a coworker once who had a habit of smoking, and he was trying to stop. And so what he would do instead is he would put an ink pen in his mouth. And one time he was working on a board and he mixed it up and put the soldering iron in his mouth.
Oh, that one hurt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Food did not taste right for a very long time after that.
Now, he said he realized more or less immediately what he did, and he pulled it out, and it just numbed part of his tongue and messed up his lips.
Oh.
But it was just, he said it was just like touched, and then he immediately recognized what he did and jerked it away. But
I think one thing, you wouldn't keep it in there long.
No.
Yeah. There was one time that I was soldering, and I had my soldering gun, my soldering station right next to my glass of orange juice. And I did put the soldering iron back into my orange juice as opposed to the station once. That was an interesting smell. as it just instantly boiled my orange juice. I was unhappy because I had to go get more orange juice.
Can't imagine it was good for the iron tip either.
Oh yeah, probably not. I think it was this iron though.
Yeah, generally you're not supposed to forge or what do they call that? Quench the tips of those in a forge.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like worst case problem for it. All right. We have so many more. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can count. Make sure that I'm at least that I haven't skipped a trace here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, we're still on pace.
Should be 16.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No.
Huh?
It's 15.
Oh, one might be unused.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, there's a 16th one on the far end, but it stops short of where it says 1342. I think I posted a picture earlier if you look.
Yeah, there's an unused pin there, I just noticed. On
Yeah.
the schematic.
Boy, you had me sweating there for a second.
Sorry.
So I'm
Yes,
currently just about halfway.
So just this week we got some new boards in at work for prototypes, and it's a series of boards that stack up to form a full system. The stack up connectors are 400 pins.
Oh, jeez.
Find the pin that got bent and shorted to the adjacent pin.
The connectors aren't bad. The problem is that, as you can imagine, the boards have to be exactly parallel, when you place them. So they come with these inserts that are supposed to be pressed into perfectly sized holes in the board, and no one had taken that into account at the assembly line. So we had to go and buy an arbor press to press these inserts in. And one board we accidentally delaminated a little bit trying to push it in. We have to get tooling made to do it correctly. And by tooling made, someone's going to throw a piece of metal on the lathe and or 3D print something that's just right.
Make a connection? I guess it did.
But it still blows me away. Samtech makes them there. They don't look like much, but yeah, there's 400 pins.
I got this. We'll do break time here for a second. I got this really cool thing that at the meetup last week that I really want. Like, it's a distraction I don't need, but I couldn't help myself. So on the Twitch stream, it'll show up here in about 15 seconds. We'll see if anybody recognizes it.
Standard bus? No. What the hell is that?
This is a 68K processor card, 2 serial cards, and a ROM card. And it all came out of a gas pump.
Ooh.
Oh.
Did you see someone on the Facebook group is already trying to map it out?
Oh, they are?
Yeah, someone else got one. They're already trying to figure out the pinout for it.
Yeah, there was about I think 3 or 4 people walked away with full sets. The Japanese dude got one. I always forget what that guy's name is.
Hide.
Yeah.
Hidemoto, I think it is.
Yeah, he got one. Because I was sitting down talking to him because he's such a nice guy. I talk to him every time. And I was showing him this, and he was like, "Dude, that's really cool. Where'd you get that?" And I was like, "Oh, Brian's got him back there." And he's like, "How much was it?" And I was like, $20. And he's like, "I'm walking over there right now."
I've had some good conversations with him about, he did some work with a Unix system on 68K when it was still relevant.
Oh, okay. So he's intimately familiar with 68K stuff.
Yeah, I've had some good conversations with him about 68K stuff.
That dude is incredibly smart and such like a nice, humble dude. I always enjoy chatting with him.
That's not a distraction. That's learning work for the FPS 100.
Yeah, I guess. No, the FPS 3000, you mean?
3000. Which one had the 68K board? Was it the 3000?
The 3000. Yeah, the 3000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew what you meant, though. Yeah, the 3000, man. I keep hoping that we'll chat with somebody that knows anything about that system. But like, I've talked with Myron White, who was the architect of the FPS 100. He was at FPS from like 78 to 82. And he was the dude that they put in charge of taking the AP120B and using large-scale integration to get it from 25 boards down to 10 boards. There's another guy on our Discord. I don't know what his real name is. Algo Comp Synth or something like that is his username. And he worked there from like 81, maybe 83 or so to like 87 or something. So he was there for a few years as well. He had never even heard of the FPS 3000. I've chatted with a few other there's a couple other people that have left comments that were like, yeah, I used to work with FPS, or we worked with FPS, and not a single person has said, oh yeah, I remember the FPS 3000. It was such a weird system, like nobody even remembers that it existed.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I think it's a really
Was
cool...
it like a last...
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what year specifically it's from. I'm guessing 85, 86. And FPS was around all the way into the 90s when, or I get about 89 or 90, I think. I don't know, I got the date right in my video, but I don't have it memorized. When Cray bought them. So, you know, all the hardware on the FPS 3000 is dated like 85, 86, 87, somewhere around there. And the year that thing came out, the dude that's in our Discord was still like working at FPS. It was from a portion of the company that he was not a part of, and it was apparently not a huge seller. So it was just like one of those things that flew under everybody's radar, apparently. Yeah, Meatball One, Cray. So Cray got bought by Silicon Graphics, and then it got messy because Silicon Graphics sold a chunk of Cray to Sun, I think. There's probably people here that are better at explaining Cray's history than I am, but like it got real messy. But I think ultimately everybody got owned by HP. Because HP just bought up all sorts of stuff. Like Centurion got owned by HP. So, you know, yeah, then it got messy. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sun ended up with the part of Cray that had acquired FPS, and I think like the last product that had anything that could have been even related to Cray was the Ultra Enterprise 10,000. But I don't know if that really had anything FPS in it.
No, really the last FPS thing was the Cray APP, I want to say. Hey, you know me, right? Am I the only one that got that who's down? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Man, I was afraid somebody was going to leave me hanging on that one. No, it was the Cray APP was actually an FPS designed matrix processor that FPS was going to sell themselves before they got bought by Cray. And then when Cray bought them, they just kept that team working on the same project and then released it as the APP. So that's actually a full FPS design. And it was that was kind of the last hurrah of FPS. After that, you know, the teams, who know where the teams went, right?
The Wikipedia mentions some machines that only were released with DEC hardware. I don't know if I wonder if the 3000 would have been mixed in with that.
No, well, so that's the thing. Like, I'm pretty sure the Wikipedia article doesn't have a damn clue what it's talking about. Because
that's what I said, where it was coming from.
Yeah, because the everything we've seen about the FPS systems is they'll hook it up to like pretty much whatever host system you want. And that the way that they're designed was to kind of be super modular. So the FPS 3000, for example, is using a board that they call the array processor interface. And this was kind of like a generic interface board that would plug into a second interface board that would be inside of the host computer. So you would just, you know, flip some toggle switches on your APIF, your APIF on the FPS side, and then you would plug the two 50-pin ribbon cables that came out of that into whatever card you had in your host system. So that way, you know, they could be as reconfigurable as possible. Even the FPS 164, which was like a huge cabinet, they had a couple of different DEC systems that could go with it, but also I think they had an interface for Prime, maybe. And we've seen in some of the document, like the albeit extremely limited documentation that we've seen, we have seen that there was an interface card for a mod comp. Now I don't know what system that interface card would have been for, but I think it's cool that they made an interface card for a mod comp.
That is
Cray kind of got split up all over the place because they got bought by SGI, and then SGI sold a chunk of their super server line to Sun, and then continued to develop Cray products for a while, and then in the early mid 2000s spun them off into their own company. Then HPE bought that company. But the only tie I have to them is I worked for a company that was based in the old Minneapolis Cray campus after SGI had bought them because SGI leased it to Whamnet.
Oh, come
on. And interestingly enough, there's a tie to a couple of movies because of that. The big data center they had there was built out for Whamnet Render on Demand with SGI systems and used for Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within and Gladiator for the special effects render.
Okay. I watched Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within in the theaters. I'm a huge Final Fantasy nerd, by the way. Like, we should just get that out of the way. So it got panned. Everybody hated it, but I liked it. I thought it was, it was like a technical masterpiece for what they could accomplish. It did still fall into a little bit of the uncanny valley, but it wasn't bad enough to take me out of it.
Well, and it was fairly early in, fully 3D rendered movies that were trying to be more realistic.
Yeah. And it was like, it took a long time before anybody was able to get close to what they pulled off.
But yeah, in the credits at the end of it, you'll see rendered by Whamnet Render on Demand in the credits on both of those movies.
Okay. Did you work for Whamnet?
I worked for Whamnet Government Services, which I worked for Whamnet, and then Whamnet split off the government services into Whamnet Government Services, and then Whamnet got bought by Service, I think it was Severus or something like that. Whamnet's business model was that they would sell a box that you would put at your business and a box that would go at the publisher of either Dead Tree Media or DVDs or CDs. And it was a guaranteed, dedicated, point-to-point, protected, like virtual connection between those two places that guaranteed bandwidth and latency so that, you know, tight deadline things like magazines and newspapers and DVD production, CD production could transfer files and they'd guarantee they'd be there and they would be intact. They sold something called the purple box because purple was Whamnet's corporate color.
Wait, I thought purple was like SGI's corporate color.
Well, yeah, but this was a little brighter purple.
Okay.
And in some ways, the correct name of the company was Wham Bang Net because it had an exclamation point in the middle of it.
Wham Bang.
Did you mention John Gustafson earlier?
Who? Me or
Dave? Dave. You.
No, I don't know who John Gustafson is.
Somebody that he was God, chief scientist or something at FPS.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't met that guy.
I found a treasure trove of. I just found his website. He's got a bunch of documents and publications about the architecture of some of these machines. I just don't know if he's talking about the 3000 or not. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll link it in the chat, actually.
There's a ton of very excellent information out there about the AP120B, and even to an extent the FPS 100, because they're the same architecture. I think we've come across this guy. I'll dig through it tomorrow.
PS 164 Max, architecture of a homogeneous vector supercomputer, hypercube communications.
Yeah,
sounds really cool.
Things are getting tight. That's like one of my favorite things about this weird job that I do, that is called YouTube, is that I get to meet a lot of really cool, smart people that did some really amazing stuff in their careers. Oh, come on. Damn it.
Okay, senior staff scientist and product development manager, Floating Point Systems, 82 to 86.
So he would have been around
If
when
anybody
the
knows.
3000.
Yeah, I'll put his main page in as well.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if he remembers what the architecture of the 3000's like, because I kind of took a guess, hoping that, like, you know, sometimes when I get something wrong, you know, if you want to learn something, just say the wrong thing, and the comments will let you know what the correct thing is. And so I kind of just took a guess at what I thought the architecture of the FPS 3000 was, hoping that somebody in the comments would be like, no, I worked there, you're wrong. And I'd be like, sweet, I learned what the real thing is. And then nobody in the comments did that.
The problem with that trick nowadays is you're going to get 2 or 3 people that just took what you said, fed it into Grok or whatever, and then copy paste whatever it says, because they don't know what the right answer is. They just want you to be wrong.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's that they want me to be wrong. It's that they want to prove that they know something that I don't.
Or the alternative is that what you say on the internet will be read by an AI, and then it'll be forever enshrined within that AI's program. And it'll just be repeated forevermore.
Yeah, this is the great. not only did I not get the wire soldered that I need soldered, I desoldered the other one.
I remember when there was some rarely spoken UK Scots. They had an entire Wikipedia written in the Scots language, and then it turned out that almost 3/4 of the articles had been written by some American teenager that had just made up most of it. And now that is in the knowledge bases of a bunch of AIs, and they're having a hell of a time trying to get rid of his screwed up version of this language.
Yeah, with that particular case, they had just had to, because he'd written so much of that Wikipedia, like the language of Scots, he'd written so much of that corpus, they just had to start from scratch again.
Yeah, but the problem is Wikipedia started over. They dealt with it fairly quickly. The problem is that all the AIs that were scraping Wikipedia then still have that incorrect knowledge and still regurgitate it as truth.
Yeah, the joy of AIs. But I think
I was having
nice
dinner.
69 viewers.
Sorry.
No, I was making. Somebody said 69 viewers, nice, and I got a laugh out of that.
I was having dinner a few weeks ago, and with some family friends, and the glass in which the drinks were served didn't look to be the standard size, and we were discussing what size we thought it was, and someone pulled out her phone and took a picture of it and put that into an AI and said, "Oh, well, it's this many milliliters," and there's no way an AI can know that because of the way they work. It's a text predictor. It's not going to say, "I don't know." It's just going to give you an answer.
Well, and it predicted what the most logical reply to that question would be, which is it's X amount of milliliters.
Yeah, regardless of what the truth is.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, by the rules of internet argumentation, if you cannot prove that it is false, you must accept that it is true.
I'm going to need you to prove that's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a joke.
I know.
I saw this post on the internet years ago.
That was a really awkward silence.
I saw this post and it's...
Sorry. You go.
You go.
Nope, you go first.
I saw this post on the internet, and it was this person expressing the research has found that if you show people evidence against their point on the internet, they won't change their mind. And then the person responded to that and said, "I don't think that's true. I think people will change their mind," even though they were proving the counter argument, because they had not changed their mind upon seeing the evidence.
Yeah, well, it's really easy to get into a political thing here. But I think there's like a certain psychology behind that, especially when you tie up a lot of your identity with whatever ideology it is that you're trying to push, or whatever ideology, not even push, whatever ideology you support. And so a lot of times you end up in situations where somebody supports this thing, and then it turns out that that thing is bad, and admitting that it's bad would be triggering kind of a fight or flight response. Like it triggers an animalistic part of the brain. And And so instead of just going, you know what? Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is bad. I am ashamed that I was a part of it. They double, you get a lot of people that double down and they go, no, you're wrong. I reject your evidence. And I disagree. I mean, I'm like walking on the concept of politics right now. Regardless of which way you go, but that's fun. I just stripped the entire wire. Regardless of which way you lean politically, this is often the case whenever you're talking to somebody who disagrees with you or leans the opposite direction. And not even politically, just like even like Ford versus Chevy, or DEC versus Data General, or like, it doesn't matter. Like if you are tied up in something emotionally, the second that you're proven to be inadequate or wrong in any way about this thing that you're tied up emotionally in, it triggers that biological instinct in your body to fight it, to go against that. And so that often causes a lot of people to do what you just said, where they go, no, I think you're wrong. I think people can change their minds, even though he was reinforcing exactly the problem. This last one's going to be a pain because I didn't get enough of it. I didn't get enough of it cut off.
Yeah,
I didn't get enough of
It's super off topic in this regard, but I've been doing some research in that space, and I think we've got certain groups and populations where they just need to know that you will insult them before they'll listen. And it's really interesting because I've been trying that out a little bit. And it seems to have an interesting hit rate of getting people to actually discuss things.
I feel like that's not a healthy way to talk.
It's really not. It's not at all.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like going, well, the only way that these people are going to listen to me is if I insult them first, is not helping. You go, yeah, okay, maybe they did listen to you, but you've just made the situation worse because now you've insulted them, and now they feel bad about themselves, or they feel bad about something that they did. And maybe you did get somebody that was receptive to it, but now that person may not be receptive to changes in the future, because all changes in the future are going to be accompanied by a denigration or an insult to what they perceive as their own intellect.
No, agreed. This is something I was just kind of trying to research and see how that went. And it's frightening that is where we are at.
Where we are at, I think, is also perhaps a little disingenuous.
Yeah, probably true.
We are not at anywhere that hasn't been there 1,000 times before in human history.
Very true.
This is not the first
But that
time that
doesn't
an
mean
empire has
we ought to
fallen.
be. Yeah, that doesn't mean we should strive to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's just
Absolutely not. But if anything, what it means is that we should look to the past more to learn from it, as opposed to repeat it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, I'm going to need some help with the
My
Discord crew
purpose was
here.
to measure. Anyway, that is very off topic for the things at hand.
Yeah. All right. So if you're on the Discord, the Friday Night Twitch, I'm about to post a picture here, and I want y'all to take a look at it and tell me if you see any solder bridges that my eyes are not seeing. I'm also going to buzz it out with the multimeter, but having a second pair of eyes look at it is always a good thing.
Man, the second pin from the left looks very weakly connected.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I don't know if that's the flux or if there's a bridge between the last one on the last before the last one.
The second to the left on the fat connectors or the skinny connectors?
The fat
The fat ones.
Oh, well, that's an
And
easy
the
one to
third
fix.
from the
The
top.
skinny ones, the skinny ones.
One at a time, one at a time, guys.
Very hard to see.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Left
The other thing
side.
you might have to look at. The other thing you might have to look at is the very first connector, skinny side left. Did that actually make connection there? Because it looks like the wire.
Yeah, it
is
doesn't
just
look
hanging
like
off to the left.
it doesn't look like it did.
Very first connector, skinny side left. You talking about the one that's lowest on the bottom?
Yeah.
Yep, bottom left in the picture.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Other than that, the rest of them all look good.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's not making connection.
No. Yeah,
There we go.
actually, I just spotted one more. If you're looking at the image in the third from the top, it looks like that one may have bridged.
Hang on. Let me
Either
move
that
you
or
to
it
a
didn't make it
new-
into the solder.
How do I move to a new window?
I think the third and the fourth from the top are bridged.
To new window. Hang on a sec. I'm about to zoom in on the photo. Third and fourth from the top. I see what you're saying. It's close. I don't think they're bridged, but it's close. I'll buzz it. I don't want to get my soldering iron back in there, because then it'll just desolder all four of those things right around there. But I'll buzz it out. All right.
No, we're not supposed to have bridges here, so there will not be a bridge review.
What is this, Madison County? Nobody?
No,
Bridges
just
of
road
Madison
reference.
County. All right. Well, those two aren't bridged. I mean, nothing's bridged, so.
And on the fat connectors, the second from the left looks like it's barely on there.
Yeah, I see
don't know if
more
you
that
wanna-
look like I see more that look like they didn't quite make it than
Yeah, so the-
ones that look bridged.
The fat connector, the second to the left, I've reflowed it. The skinny connector, the one on the bottom, I've reflowed it. Those are both now much better connected.
Awesome.
Yeah, that third one up top
Yeah.
is a little worrying, but it didn't buzz out, so there's not a bridge there.
Okay, I see one more possible bridge.
I didn't buzz any bridges out, so I think we're okay with respect to bridges.
7 and 8 from the top, are those? It's just very close.
7 and 8 from the top. Like counting 7 down?
Yeah, start from the top pin and count down to the 7.
Ooh, yeah, those do get mighty close. Where's my razor blade? Yeah, nope, those are clear. I think we're good. I think we can give it a shot here. But we need
Giant
to
hot
also Reese needs to, since I've got the soldering iron hot, I need to fire up my desoldering iron, and Reese, I need you to let me know which 373s to replace.
I think just U12. There's two 373s, but that one's the one I think's got a problem. The other one is connected to the ROM address lines, and we know that's working, so it should be fine.
Okay.
So just U12.
That's good. Only a single. I can get away with just doing a single.
Gotta go back and watch your FPS videos now because I'm Now I'm looking at the differences between the 3000 and the 5000.
So the 3000 and the 5000, since I gotta wait for that to heat up anyways, they're both XP32 based machines. So the XP32 is their MIMD processor, which is kind of MIMD, kind of not MIMD, deeply, heavily pipelined. Uses a pair of AM29116s, some Waytech 1032 and 1033s. Very cool processor. That processor is the same between the two. So the actual like computing capabilities between them are pretty much identical. The difference is that the XP32 needs something to control it. It needs a control processor. So on the FPS 5000 series, that control processor is the older SIMD FPS 100 or AP 120B. That control processor is effectively loading microcode into the static RAM to control the arithmetic portion of it, which is separate from the floating point side of it, which has hard-coded microcode. And so the control processor is moving stuff around and controlling how data is moving in, loading in microcode, doing all that stuff. And on the FPS 3000, they wanted to have an XP32 based system that didn't require an FPS 100 or an AP 120B to act as the control processor. So what they did is they took the Motorola VersaBus card, which was like the precursor to the VME bus, and turned that into a control processor dedicated to the FPS 3000. Or dedicated to the XP32, really. So from a software perspective, the FPS 5000 and FPS 3000 use the same software. And they probably even use the same microcode. It's just a question of who is shuffling, of who is in charge of shuffling things left to right within the XP32 system. Now, the reason that we're not pursuing the FPS 3000 is that we don't have any documentation, so we don't know how the array processor interface is set up and what machine it was kind of intending to talk to. And we don't know, the bigger issue is that, man, I'm trying to do all this off of memory. So there's two microcode stores in the thing, and one of them is in ROM, and this is for the AM29116s. And then the other microcode store is in static RAM, which is for the Waytel chips, the 1032 and 1033, which are the hardware multiplier and hardware ALU. And that microcode is going to get loaded dynamically, could come from two directions, could come from the 29116 generating the microcode on the fly. If we got lucky, that's what it's doing. Or what I think is more likely, the software has microcode routines stored in it, and it shovels that microcode routine into static RAM via the control processor. I think that's what's going on. And so without software, the processor is literally useless because the microcode is completely missing.
Right.
And there's no software. The reason that I think that's what's happening is because the design that they've built there of the AM29116 with the Waytel 1032, 1033 hardware multiplier and hardware ALU, and big Waytech register files. That's exactly the same design as the BOMIM's high performance vector processor. They're like almost identical designs. And so the way that the Bowman gets its microcode into the microcode store is via software. I mean, I can see it hitting the hard disk every time it says loading microcode. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that without software, we'll never be able to use the FPS 3000. I mean, some people say we could
Just a
reverse
matter of-
engineer it, but I think that's wishful thinking.
Just a matter of finding that one hidden corner of the web where maybe it still exists.
Yeah, I think what's really going to save us is somebody somewhere is going to have a system that still has an FPS attached to it. You know, like a like an Eclipse or something like that. And we are gonna, somebody somewhere will come across it and go, you know, I'm really interested in this, and I want to archive the data off of it. There we go. That's a spare 373. Somebody will go, I want the system. I don't particularly care about the FPS, but we'll go, hey, that's an XP32. Get all of the data off of the disk, you know, and then they'll back up the data on the disk, and then we'll decipher that and build a new software suite for the XP32 from that. I think that's pretty much the only way we're ever going to find software for the thing. And it's like, that's an entirely feasible, possible solution. Like Coley's FPS 100 was found on a Eclipse. And if Sark gets around to getting that Eclipse up and going, there's a chance that the software for it might be on a disk somewhere. You said U12, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Guy's a mess in here. All right. Now the FPS 100, which is the system that Coley has, and the one that I'm trying to build a new backplane for, at one point in time, Al Caso found a tape that had FPS 100 software on it that was for PDP-11 RSX-11M. Now the tape was damaged, so we didn't get everything, and we're missing some pretty vital stuff, but we have about 80% of all the software that we need, which is a righteous start.
The pictures on BitSaver is of a 3000. I'm assuming that's the same one you have.
That's mine, yes. And I wish you would update those, because those are terrible pictures, and I've taken much better photographs of all the cards and whatnot. But Al doesn't talk to me, so you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hopefully
so
he'll come around.
there's a yeah, whatever. Whether he does or he doesn't, I'm kind of done with that dude. But if you go to, I have a GitHub that has all of our accumulated FPS knowledge on it. So if you go to there, there's some great pictures of the 3000 and of the FPS 100 boards. And we got a couple of pictures of Coley's backplane and chassis on there as well.
Yeah, I think I've seen those. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I took really high resolution pictures of the 3000 boards. So if you want to see like real, like proper good pictures of the 3000 stuff, that's the place to see it. The XP32 processor is really fascinating. It's split up across 2 boards, but it's fascinating because the construction is so similar to the BOMIM high performance vector processor. It's like when you got into the late 80s, this concept of building a vector processor, there was like the right way to do it, and that was the right way to do it. And I remember I was talking to Mike about the high performance vector processor that they built for the BOMIM. And he said when they finished it, the NSA came around and was like, yeah, you can't sell this to the Russians, man. And they were like, what do you mean we can't sell it to the Russians? And they're like, well, it's fast enough that it can do ballistic missile calculations faster than anything they currently own. I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah. So they built a downgraded vector processor that was still faster than just doing the vector math on the PDP-11, because like you can still do the math. It just takes forever. Like an FFT, we're just guessing, but like doing an equivalent FFT using just the PDP-1173, we're thinking would take like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. And using the vector processor, the high performance vector processor, it takes a half second. So what it means is that you can do a scan, do the FFT on it, and see the results of your scan in like 3 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes. For getting set up to do the scan, then doing the FFT, getting everything moved around and whatnot. So the high performance vector processor made a huge difference.
I wonder if they worked with Motorola, being that they were taking an existing architecture and sort of porting the command processor portion over.
BOMIM or
FPS.
FPS. Maybe, I don't know. Like it seems really weird that they would use the VersaBus. Like they didn't use a 68K in anything else at any point in time. And then all of a sudden they've got this 68K with this like wild VersaBus thing. It almost feels like they had a buddy at Motorola that was like, hey, we got this new thing and we really want, people to buy it. And they were like, all right, yeah, whatever. We'll put it into I don't know, something. And then they're like, talk to an engineer and he was like, hey, I don't know, find something to use this for. Right? It feels like a backhanded deal. Somebody was scratching somebody's back,
Yeah, no, I know a couple of people that were at Motorola in that era. I could ask around if anybody remembers anything.
All right, let's see if I can get this thing out of here. It's a really cool system, and I would love to get it going. Like I would much rather get that going than build a backplane for the FPS 100, because the FPS 100, that must be inside. The FPS 100 architecture is the exact same as the AP 120B architecture, right? Same architecture. It's just whether you're doing it with large scale integration or not. And there's a bunch of known surviving examples of that. So Coley has an FPS 100. There's a guy, member of the Discord in Europe, that just recently picked up an FPS 5100, which is their rebranded FPS 100 that can take the XP32, but it doesn't have an XP32 in it. So it's just an FPS 100. And then we know of like 6 AP 120Bs. But we don't know of a single surviving XP32 architecture out there other than the one that is currently sitting in my garage. So it just feels like such a shame to just go, okay, well, it's just going to sit in the garage forever until we find, some software for it, which may never happen. It's really frustrating because I would much rather, that seems like such a cool part of FPS's history. They built a MIMD processor and it was fast. and you could stack them, and they were really cool, and none of them survived.
Yeah, what the heck happened?
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why.
Well,
Yeah,
you know, equipment that is used for classified projects generally was destroyed or demilled rather than reused outside of classified projects. You know.
Yeah, it's such a shame because it's such a cool part of their history. What's up, Fragment?
Yeah, I'm gonna dig around a little bit.
I don't know what exclamation point DC means, but what's up, Fragment? Yeah, I mean, if you can find anything the XP32, there's like not even a whole lot of information out there about the XP32. We found a couple, so pretty much all the information. Roy just linked to my thing, my GitHub, but there's a couple of good documents we found that talk about the XP32. Pretty much, I've been pretty much obsessed with just one of those documents, which has wonderful information about the XP32, what it was used for, how it was used, etc. And so that's kind of been where I'm drawing most of my knowledge from. Man, this is just not going to work right. All right. Get rid of you, go with you. But other than those, other than like 3 documents.
20-pin chip there? Do you have a 20-pin socket or not?
Yeah, I don't have any 20-pin sockets, so I got to make one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got a 14-pin and a 6-pin.
So you know about it. The thing with exclamation point DC is it usually triggers a bot that tells you or gives you the link to Discord.
Oh, yeah. Fragment. Just go to YouTube. There's a link to the Discord on every single video that I've made.
Yeah, Roy already sent it to them.
Oh, okay.
Roy
Thank you,
already
Roy.
sent it to him. I just wanted to tell you what it was.
No, that was the Git.
Yeah. Well, Fragment. If you're looking for, if you're still looking for to get to the Discord, just hit up YouTube. YouTube Usagi Electric. There's a link in the description of any video that I've made for the last 5 years. So just whichever video comes up, click that. You'll find a link to the Discord. You'll have to answer a CAPTCHA thing. You're gonna get a private message from Yag, yet another generic Discord bot or something like that. And you just got to click that link and it'll take you to a CAPTCHA. And then you just complete the CAPTCHA and then you've got access to the rest of the server.
Just ask your friendly AI how many motorcycles there are.
Yeah. We got a CAPTCHA today. So I made an account for the missus because she likes the Pet Pictures channel. And I was just like, it'll just be easier. Oh, must be midnight. My printers got re-added. I was like, it'll just be easier if we just make you an account. Then you can post your own pictures of the cats or whatever. And so we got a CAPTCHA that was like, move the pipe to finish the puzzle or something like that. It felt like a crappy mobile game ad, but that was the CAPTCHA. It was wild.
I think another part of the discussion on the FPS 3000 was that the interface was pretty obviously 32-bit, so it wouldn't interface to the 1144 for the 1144 project very easily. Not to mention lack of software.
Yeah, so the AP interface has a collection of dual port RAM on it, which we're moderately confident is, you use dual port because you've got a value coming in and then you send that value out. Now the 68K I think is set up as a 16-bit bus, so they hammer that. So that dual port RAM is set up as 32 bits of dual port RAM, but the 68K control processor, I'm pretty sure is a 16-bit bus. So they just take that in 2 bursts. So it's entirely possible that it was a 16-bit machine and they were doing 2 bursts into 32 bits of dual port RAM, but I don't know, that doesn't feel right to me. So I'm pretty sure that my guess is that the host system was a VAX or something like that, because by the time you got to the 1980s, to the mid 1980s, very few people I think would have still been running a Unibus PDP-11. All right. New LS373 installed. All right, let's see if we can get this thing back together without destroying it some more. Reese, do you know if a interface card has to be plugged in order to do initial tests, or can we start initial testing without an interface plugged in at all?
The IO card, you mean?
Yeah.
Serial port.
Yeah.
I think you can skip that. I think you can skip that one. But you have to have the servo board in.
Yeah, so I was going to put the servo board in and the main PCB in, but I was going to leave the interface card out for the moment.
Yeah, that should give us enough to be able to activate the motor left and right if we fix the problem with the LS373.
And if we fix the problem with the cable, we should be able to see all the LEDs turning on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs and buts going on here. I'm also fresh out of space. Good Lord. Well, the good news is that we can't make it any worse. I mean, it's already pretty unusable, so what can I do? Make it more unusable?
As long as there's no motor run capacitors on it.
Yeah. Getting ready for explosion number 2. Yeah, that was the one I just soldered. All right. Guess we can start putting stuff back together. I'm still kind of skeptical of this main board. There's some pretty crusty looking stuff on here that we didn't replace last time. But we'll keep troubleshooting it until either it works or I throw it in the garbage. Or I put it in a box and I send it to somebody so it can be their pain in the ass.
The 3 most beautiful words in the English language are someone else's problem.
Yep.
The someone else's problem field from Hitchhiker's Guide.
It's been so long since I've read that book.
It's a way to make things invisible.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's someone else's problem.
That's right. Douglas Adams was a brilliant writer.
What was the Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and then the sequel to that was The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul? Yeah, he wrote some interesting books.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've read Dirk Gently as well. I never saw there was like a TV show or something that I should watch for Dirk Gently.
I like how he predicted the existence of Wikipedia and then also predicted that the management of Wikipedia would turn out to be super crap.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, someone had mentioned motorcycles earlier for the CAPTCHA thing. I saw a video today that Ryan Wedding had been transported to Los Angeles for his drug trafficking trial. He was a former Olympic skier and became a drug lord down in Mexico.
Okay.
The motorcycle angle is that previously they one of the things that linked him, that they were able to find him through, was he had a collection of exotic and racing motorcycles that was worth $40 million.
Dang. Dude knew what was up.
Which Orange County chopper was that?
Oh no, this was like racing. This was like Ducatis that had raced in GP1 and, you know, one-of-one motorcycles and paint schemes. And I'll post a link to a news article on it.
I'm kidding.
All right.
I keep seeing all the I forget who the guy is on YouTube that has an OCC chopper and is saying how terrible it truly is.
Oh, that's bikes with beards. He has the Miss Geico bike.
Okay.
Yes, that's who it is.
Yeah, that's the supercharged custom OCC build that like never really worked.
It's because they built it for TV, man.
It was built to be a showpiece. It wasn't built to be ridden.
Yeah, did you ever see any of the videos about the people who had cars appear on Pimp My Ride and then described how it was behind the scenes?
Oh, yeah. The best one is like the dude that lost his mind and it kind of became a meme because he like talks about it and like he's like, I'm naturally kind of a quiet dude. And so when we filmed it the first time, I was just like, yeah, man, that's cool. And they were like, cut. No, that can't do that. That's no good. You got to really crank it up, man. Crank it up to 11. And so he just like was like, okay. And then just lost his mind because they asked him to crank it up to 11. And that was the tape. That was the cut that they kept.
Yeah, there was another one where they wanted to present that this guy was a slob. So when they filmed him, they like put extra junk in his, like extra junk food wrappers and shit in his car to make it look like he was a big huge pig.
Yeah, that was a terrible show. But then again, all reality TV. I mean, I was on a reality TV show called Sticker Shock. And I don't know if you'd call it reality. I mean, I guess it only ran one season and it was not what they told us it was going to be until like we showed up and they like pulled up like a big old bait and switch on us. Yeah,
741 donated a bunch of subs.
Whoa! Hey, thanks, Bob. Thank you, dude. Hell yeah.
No problem, man.
Bob out here crushing it. Yeah, so if you ever see a TV show called Sticker Shock show up on reruns, try to catch the episode about like mini cars or whatever, because I'm on that episode. I mean, it was a terrible show. What they were trying to do was like, what they appealed to us was they said like, you know, we want to show unique cars. And so they like asked us to send a video about our unique car that we had. And so I sent a video of my Mitsubishi 360 and they liked it. And then, you know, we had like a phone interview and I told them the whole history of the car, like where I found it and whatnot. And they, you know, they were like, well, you know, what would this car be worth? Because that's a question that everybody asks. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I've seen like a couple in Japan sell for this much. So mine is restored to the same level that those sell for. So that price. And they were like, oh, okay, thanks. And I thought that was like the end of it. And then we get there and, you know, then they ship my car all the way out to California. And we get there, they pay for us to go into a hotel and whatnot. And they're like, okay, the show is actually called Sticker Shock. And it's about, you know, great. That doesn't actually fit with that transformer in a way, huh? And it's about people who are surprised about the price of their car and what they think it's worth. And I'm like, wait, but that's not what we agreed upon, right? And so then they, you know, we have an appraiser that's going to kind of appraise your car. You're going to walk through it with them and they're going to look at it and they're going to tell you what this thing is worth. And then we want your reaction to what your car is actually worth. And I was like, okay, this is not going to work because, you know, all of the information that you have on my car, I sent you because it's all in Japanese language and I translated it for you. But they had a writer like come up with some story that my car was worth less than I thought it was. And so that was my sticker shock. And they were like, what do you think about that? And I was like, I don't care. I really don't.
No, you're supposed to be, oh, woe is me because I failed to buy American. I'm junkyarding this piece of crap and buying a Ford Shitbox 3000.
No, that wasn't the vibe that they wanted at all. The vibe that they wanted was me to show shock that the car that I thought was worth so much wasn't worth as much as I thought it was. And it's funny because like it had nothing to do with like, you know, country or patriotism or anything like that. They just wanted that reaction of, oh my gosh, it's not worth what I think it is, you know, because everybody thinks that their car is worth an absolute fortune, right?
Not me, no.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, car people that are proud of their cars. Everybody thinks their car is the best car on the planet. That's car guys for you. And so it was like, it was funny because the appraiser, you kind of like walked through the appraisal on camera with me, and then he was like, all right, can we cut for a second, guys? And I was like, this is weird. And then he goes over to the writer and has to talk with the writer about what he should appraise my vehicle at. And I was like, okay. So the appraiser is not actually an appraiser. I mean, he was a real appraiser, but he wasn't actually doing the job of appraising that day. He was an actor for a writer who wrote a story about, you know, people being shocked about the prices of their cars. And I was like, okay, so there's effectively zero reality in this TV show whatsoever, because they did a bait and switch on us right off the bat. And then and before we even knew what was up, they had already written the story and figured out what they were going to appraise everything at. Yeah, it was not good.
Was that car a 1967 Mitsubishi Deluxe?
That's it. You found it.
So that's episode 6. Model man, big fin sedan, microvan.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's the one. I just wanted to have fun and like show off my car because I thought it was a cool car. All right, that's all back together. Let's see what happens. Flip those up, see if we get some LEDs on. Make sure that's off. All right, what's the over-under on this thing actually being repaired? I'm going with no LEDs and the motors still don't spin. Let's find out. Oh, whoa, we got a check light. We do have LEDs back. Reese, I'm going to need your help on what that check light is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, I'll look that up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it blinks 5 times.
That means the IO card has got a fault. Oh, okay. Maybe we have.
Wait a
maybe
minute.
we
The
have
number
to make
keeps the number keeps changing.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 5. I counted it 5 times every time.
Yeah, so that's IO.
All right, so we need to put the IO card in.
Guess so.
Well, okay, that's I'm okay with that fault.
Oh, I forgot to look. Did any of the LEDs light up on the?
Yes, they did.
I mean, okay, the ones down on the
Yep.
hole detector.
Yeah, they did light up. So we at least have some power down there.
Just don't rip the cable again this time.
Yeah, that's why I'm not pulling the front face off. I'm taking the motor out to put the IO card in. So, all right, we're going to go with the parallel IO card because I don't think it's been damaged. I just want to try and get the motors to spin here. So we're just going to go with as simple as possible. I do need some screws to latch that down. And I don't have any.
On Amazon Prime, Sticker Shock says unscripted.
yeah. We were unscripted because we had no clue what was going on. But there was absolutely a writer.
So there wasn't a script, but there was an outline.
Yeah, if you want to call it that. It felt really like the whole thing was super scummy, the way they did it.
A lot of reality television is.
Yeah.
The reason Go ahead.
I found a Reddit post. It says, if you tune into Sticker Shock on Discovery this Wednesday, you may see my little Mitsubishi.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah.
Although I think that
Well,
they
it
didn't
has
tell
your,
us
it's
what
your
episode.
username, so chances are it's you.
Yeah. Nakazoto.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was where I saw the casting call. Actually, was on Reddit. It was, I forget which subreddit it was, but there was a casting call for unique cars on Reddit, and that was what I replied to. There we go.
Yeah, the reason why I assumed they wanted a negative reaction is because reality TV mostly feeds on negativity.
No, they did it. I will say they did a decent balance of positive to negative reactions. So they would say, somebody would go, they'd go, what do you think your car's worth? And they'd go, oh, I don't know, probably $20,000 or so. And they'd go, well, surprise, it's worth $50,000. And they would go, oh my gosh, they wanted that reaction. So they wanted positive and negative reactions. They wanted a balance. And it just so happens that the writers, my car wasn't worth much at all. They were like, what do you think it's worth? And I was like, I don't know, $8,000. Because that's kind of what they go for in Japan, this restored. And the writer was like, all right, say $6,000. And they were like, okay, so I think it would only go for $6,000. And it's funny because, like, if you watch the episode, yeah, that's me. If you watch that episode, the reaction that they show of like my reaction to $6,000, him saying it's worth $6,000 is taken from like a different spot. So like they like hacked it up in the edit. Actually, a lot of like whenever they wanted me to look sad or like I was, upset about something, what they were doing was pulling B-roll from when we weren't talking. And I was just like waiting around for something to happen. And it just so happens that like my neutral face is kind of sad looking. And so all the shots in there of like when I look a little sad or upset about something, that's just my neutral face, which is a little depressing.
No, you're up. Bleh. I think you would be a bit more upset than normal in that case because you're thinking, now I'm here. I have to waste time on this scummy show with these scummy people that misled us.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Round 2.
Fight.
2, 3, 4, 5. We're still getting 5. Oh, because I didn't plug it in because I'm a big dum-dum. I was like, we're still getting I/O errors because I didn't plug the ribbon cable in.
Just be careful doing it.
Yep. This ribbon cable is an actual ribbon cable, so I can be a little brutal with it. I just got to make sure not to catch the other ribbon cable with my finger. All right. Now we do actually have an I/O card installed. The check light went off.
Yay.
Spool and loop doesn't do anything.
Right, left and right.
Nope, they don't do anything either.
Did that move a little bit? Actually, I think you need to load a tape for it to do anything at all.
I can do that. Does it have some kind of sensor in there to detect if a tape's in there?
I think so, yeah.
Fine, there we go.
Or at least you have to have the head down.
Where'd you find that picture?
That is when I was restoring it. So I paid for a company to do the paint on it, and they scammed me in Japan. Like, I got totally scammed, completely hosed by it. And that was before I had gotten to know the guys at Classic Car Nagoya. And I was just going to kind of live with it because I was like, I couldn't really afford to pay another company to paint the car that I already paid to paint once. The guys at Classic Car Nagoya came by once and they saw it and they went, man, you did such a great job. It's a shame that the paint on this thing is garbage. And I was like, yeah, I got scammed by this company and I don't really know what to do about that. And they were like, why don't you just bring it to Classic Car Nagoya? And I was like, I can't afford that. And they're like, no, you bring it. You're going to do all the work. We'll just give you the supplies. And I was like, oh, all right. And so I started kind of part-time at Classic Car Nagoya on the weekends, restoring my own car at their place using their supplies.
That's awesome.
Oh, hey, look at that. I don't know if you can see that on the video. But we got spinning motors.
Yeah.
But we got spinning motors.
Yep. It's alive.
We can go backwards and forwards.
Yeah, great. Or no hopes at all to this. It's kind of great.
Okay,
Yeah.
what about spool or loop? Do those work now?
Oh, okay. Yeah, they do. That one did a rewind. Loop shoots it forward a little bit. Maybe that's more like a load. That's more like a load.
Yeah, you've got tach feedback then.
I think it's mostly functional.
Yeah, it's looking that way. The only other thing to check would be the photo sensors.
Yeah, I don't know how to. We can't really check that unless we get it hooked up to a computer with the I/O, with the serial I/O. Damn, that thing moves quick.
Are there scrolls to this thing?
Yeah, bear in mind that it expects that there's a hub of some non-insignificant diameter involved here.
Yeah. Which I don't think I have. All right, so what's our next step here? Put the serial I/O card in and get it hooked up to this laptop?
I think so.
Oh, wow. When I did a rewind there, it actually rewound the tape.
Yeah, so what the loop and spool does is it kind of sets like the starting loop position of where the tape is, so that you can rewind back to the start. So it's kind of like aligning where the tape starts.
Oh, that's fun. Look at that. I don't know, for some reason now I somehow got it into a mode where rewind is moving just the tape, but not the motors.
Yeah, I think now if you press loop or spool, then it'll go to the other mode.
Oh, okay. So if I do spool, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then if I do loop, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I think they're about. I have to check the manual, but yeah, loop and spool is sort of basically setting the starting position for the tape, and then off you go after that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I believe the sequence when you turn this thing on is supposed to be you use forward and reverse to get it aligned. You use loop and spool to set the start point, and then after that, IO is active, so you can do things with it.
So at this point, we're thinking that the thing is pretty much largely functional.
Yeah.
We don't know if the reader mechanism is working correctly yet because we have nothing to read. So let's get the serial IO card in there. If we can squeeze it into place, I need to hog out the case here.
Or we go to bed now with a win.
No, are you kidding? No, we need to go to bed with a loss.
Just be careful of the
PG.
Yeah, I'm not touching that main board yet. I'm gonna kind of get the serial board in there a little cattywampus, because the Kevin accidentally made it a little too tight. All right,
I
well,
put
we know,
loss
all right,
in
well, we
the
know
thing for you, so now you have a loss.
this is my worst loss ever so far. All right, let's see here. We've got S2 set to off, on, off. DCE and DTE. So I think we're set, switch to, I've got switch to 3 and 2 off, which is going to be 8 bits. Switch 5 is on, which is 1 stop bit. Switch 6 is level 2 protocol, whatever that means. And then switch 1 and 4 are both off, so that's no parity. Yeah, so we should be 9600, 8 and 1. I think. Now, we have no idea if the UART on this thing is any good. It could have very well been fried when everything else was fried, because I think it's on the same bus.
Yeah, what we would have to do is punch a tape with a known pattern and see if the known pattern comes out.
Yeah, well, I've got a UE1 test tape here as my 8-level tape that we can test with, and it's a test tape because it has a repeating pattern on it.
Yeah, the other thing I just thought of is I hope this is not the kind of reader where the serial bit rate is synchronous with the motor.
All right, here we go. Let's go. I need serial cables.
Did you say it was level 2 protocol, David?
That's what the switch was set to, whatever that means.
Okay. Yeah, just yeah, I think the level 1 protocol is some kind of automatic thing, whereas level 2 you send commands to activate things.
Okay.
So that should do for now.
So I'm just gonna take this with me. I don't think we'll need a null modem, but I'm gonna bring all this junk over there anyways. Oh yeah, let me get the motor back in. Let's find out what all's still broken.
Hello. Sorry for going off topic. Anyone has any tips on how to discover capacitor values on like CRT boards or any of the kind? I got a little problem with mine. It went up the smoking very loud and smokeful way. So I have pieces, not complete values here. I need a little hand here.
Somebody else might have a different idea, but your best bet might be to just find a schematic for a CRT that's close and then copy their values.
Or see if somebody else has a similar monitor and can measure the value.
Yeah, I'll try that. Thank you.
All right, let's get, oh yeah, you guys can kind of see what's going on over here. Let's go minicom-s. Let's see, what's our serial port set up as? 9600 8-in-1, that looks good. So let's turn this thing on.
Hey Dave, can you pull the top of your screen forward a quarter of an inch or half an inch? It's
Oh yeah, you guys got a
perfect.
wonderful glare going on there. There we go.
So I believe Control Q should start the read process. You might have to do the loop spool thing first to just tell it that it's at the starting point.
Okay. Okay. Nope. Control Q didn't do anything. What other control codes you got?
Control S is stop. Control X should rewind the motor.
Yep. Nope.
Control
None of those do
W
anything.
should wind it on the other way. Okay.
Let's
There's some
null modem it.
jumpers for DCE versus DTE, maybe.
Yeah, it's faster for me to slap a null modem in the middle.
Okay.
Wow, except that I need another gender changer. Great. Well, I said it was faster to slap a null modem in the middle, but I may be wrong. We need a male to male that already has one missing here. So we want to have this one gone. Let's see if I can unscrew it. Yep. There we go. All right, that's now been null modemed. Let's go power on. We do a spool, then a loop.
You got some garbage on the terminal when you did that. So
that garbage has been up there for a while.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Control Q, S, X, they don't do anything.
Okay. I'm out of ideas unless.
Yeah, I'm betting. I don't think the serial card was probably ever tested. Because I mean, it's got bodges on it already, and there's a good chance that the COM 8017 was damaged.
Yeah, before we go too much further, do you have one of those little boxes that's got the LEDs on it?
I do.
That tells you what the line's actually being looked for. We should probably hang that on one end to make sure that it is wired the way we think it should be wired before you debug too far.
Yep. All right, so just plugging it into just that box there. I've got the null modem on it right now. Let's see here. The RX light is off. The TX light is red. I don't know whether that's high or low. And DCD and DTR are lit up. Now, if I plug this in, is it going to light up the TX light as well? It does. So I think I don't need the null modem here. Because I think what we want is one of them to be lighting up RX and the other one to be lighting up TX. If they're both lighting up the same light, doesn't that say that we've got something hooked up wrong? Let me just slap this guy in here and see what happens. And then let's see here. If I go into you light up the RX light. See, you light up the TX light, and then we've got DSR and RTS lit up on that one. And this guy is lighting up RTS and DTR. I wonder if it's just a flow control problem.
That sounds about right. But didn't you say previously you had the flow control turned off on the minicom?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so the IO board does like raise like things like DTR or whatever, well not board, the DSR. But minicom shouldn't care about that.
Yeah, let me see if I can turn flow control
Maybe just turn it off.
Minicom.
Yeah.
Let's do Control AX and then do a Minicom -S again. Let's do serial ports setup. I guess we want hardware flow control. We'll set that to yes. We'll try that for now. QSX, Control QS and X don't do anything. Keyboard doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh, Jesus. I was hoping that if I could...
The level 1 protocol is different in that it's completely passive and you just like turn on RTS and it starts reading or something. So maybe we could just see if it tries reading in that mode.
Yeah, let's try that. It's pretty easy to swap that. Yeah, let's switch 6. All right. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we ever get anything in or out. The comm chip is on the lines that would have been blasted, though, right? If we slam 12 volts with this serial interface in there.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's no transceivers or anything in the way.
I don't think I have another COM 8017, unfortunately. Let me see what I got over here.
I believe it's the same pinout as the other serial UART chips that you use, but I think it's a 5-volt only version. So a 1680 TR1683 would work, not a 1682.
Well, I've got a IM6402. So if that's a similar pinout, we could try it. I'm pretty sure that's a 5-volt chip.
IM, did you say?
Yeah, India Mike 6402.
I'm looking at the pinout now.
Yeah, I've also got another Rockwell chip that's the same number of pins. But I don't know if it would work.
I think it's worth giving the IM1 a try.
Okay. I mean, I got a bunch of these. So we can absolutely give the IM chip a try. Ugh.
Pull the wire first.
Yep.
I'm actually looking at the schematic for the original serial board from Remex. I'm assuming that your friend's board is laid out similarly.
I have no clue what he did. It kind of drives me nuts that I mean, like, I don't want to talk bad about Kevin because I think he's an awesome dude and he does really great work. But it drives me nuts that he's using a mix of dip and surface mount stuff. I hate surface mount.
Not as much as me, you don't.
I mean,
One
you're
of my
talking- I mean, you're talking-
my hands shake, so I just plain cannot work on surface mount.
The amount of boards that I have delaminated because of surface mount is enraging.
It's just, you know, you're talking to the guy that built a homebrew out of vacuum tubes because he didn't like surface mount that much. There you go.
That's one good reason to.
All right, so that's a COM 8017. I don't think I've ever used one of those. I also have a Rockwell R65C52, whatever that is.
Can you just repeat that? Sorry.
Yeah, so it's a Rockwell Romeo 65 Charlie 52.
Didn't you say you have an IM6402?
Yeah, that's what I'm plugging in right now.
Yeah, because that's what the AI says is equivalent, but
wow.
Yeah,
The AI is just making shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the 6552 will work. That's for 6502 bus systems.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But
sure
the-
that one was unique.
Yeah, but the IM looks like it's the same as the COM 8017.
Okay. So many of those like early UART chips all shared a really similar pinout and construction.
Yeah.
Like the IM chip is so I use the TR1602 in my homebrew, and the IM chip is a direct drop-in replacement as long as you get rid of the 12 volts that the TR1602 needs. Otherwise, it's like everything works the same. So on my PCBs that I'm making for the TMS 9900, I'm putting a little jumper on the 12 volt supply. So that way, if you want to use the IM, you can just swap it in, pop the jumper out, you're off to the races.
Yeah. I'm using a TR1683 in one of my home brews, and it's so much easier to just have direct TXRX sides. It's so simple to use those chips.
It's great. And I just tie TX and RX together, but like I can see how it would be very useful to not have those tied together.
Yeah.
It's so like there's such
if you're
intuitive.
If you're making a terminal like an ADM3A, then you got like the keyboard coming in one side and the character generator coming out the other. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's not the one I'm looking for. Oh, that is the one I'm looking for. All right, I'm going back to phase 2 or level 2 on the protocol.
Good.
Oh, now we got to check error code. Oh, because I don't have a motor plugged in. Plug that motor in. There we go. Let's do a spool. Let's do a loop to kind of center things up. Control Q, S, X, nothing out of that.
Lovely.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Just turn hardware flow control off again.
Okay. Hardware flow controls off, 9600, 8 in 1. Nope.
I'm not sure what to do now other than put scopes on things and see if there's any signals happening at all. I haven't actually disassembled the serial I/O part of the ROMs yet. That was going to be the next thing on my list, so I can do that this next week.
Well, we got further than I ever thought we would on this thing, so, I mean...
Oh, yeah.
Being able to make the tape go back and forth is way more than I ever thought we'd ever see this thing do. And
Do you by
making
any chance have an Interfill Paris HD 6402?
I don't think so. Is that a UART?
Yeah, evidently it's a replacement for the COM 8017.
Oh, no, the only UARTs I have are the ones that I have the IM 6402 or whatever it is. And that's about it. All right. What about... I wish I had a plug for the parallel card. What could we do with the parallel card to kind of confirm that something's working? Because we know that this card functions, right? Because it's the good card. And there's also not hardly any logic on it. Like if we ground out a pin on the parallel card or put 5 volts into a pin on the parallel card, can we get this thing to, you know, like fast forward or rewind or something?
I don't know off the top of my head. Just looking at the manual now to see if I can find something.
Because oh, go ahead.
You can always use the scope to look at your output on the parallel.
Yeah, yeah. What I want to try and confirm is great. How do you get out of Minicom after you've unplugged your serial port? Kind of what I want to confirm is, like, is our fault in the serial card or is our fault somewhere deeper? And right now the serial card is a massive unknown because it's not the original serial card. It's one that Kevin was remaking essentially. And so let's go back to an original configuration here and work forward from there, you know, figure out what works, what doesn't work.
Just to make things fun, there's 2 different parallel interfaces, Remex and Echo.
This is a Remex.
I think I've had the pin out.
And what we may do is skip Kevin's serial board here and just make our own serial board from scratch.
Yeah. Well, we have the original schematic of the Remex version, and
yeah,
you
so
can
we just
use your IM for that.
Yeah,
well,
that makes a little more sense to me.
Well, couldn't you just drive the parallel board from our Arduino?
Yeah, we could totally do that too, but it would be nice to be able to just plug it into RS-232 and go.
Or maybe GPIO on a Raspberry Pi, and then you can, yeah.
At the very least, with parallel interfaces, pins for motor left and motor right, so we can see if they do anything for a start.
Yeah, so do we pull those high? Do we pull those low? There it is. That's the big question I've got. If we pull them low, it's a lot easier. If we got to pull them high, I got to find 5 volts on here somewhere that I can tap into. But I can do that too. I mean, that's not that hard.
It's on pin 23 of the parallel port.
Pin 23 is the motor, one of the motor directions.
No, pin 23 is 5 volts. It looks like the drive pins are pins 16 and 17, and they're active high.
Okay, so I just got a jumper from pin 23 to 16 or 17.
I think so.
I can do that. All right, so let's close you. Let's get the motor back in. Because apparently it's very upset if the motor is not plugged in. Understandably so.
Just make sure you do get into pin 23 and not 22, because apparently that's a negative 12 volts.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And 19, I think, is plus 12 volts.
Oh, that'll be great. We can really mess stuff up. I should probably do these with the resistor then.
Q, that's how it happened?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think... I mean, yeah, I think probably the 12 volts that got shorted on that short connector that connects, you know, the main board to the I/O board. But I don't think the parallel board was in there when the short happened.
Yeah.
Hey, Riss, is this the pinout for the connector on the main board, or is this a pinout for the edge for the connector from the parallel board?
This is the parallel DB25 on the back.
Yeah. 100 ohms is enough protection, right?
Look at me.
Let's find out.
I'm a software guy, man.
100 ohms is not enough protection, but that's what I'm going to use. All right.
You might just want to also before you plug it in the scene, check that pin 23 is 5 volts, because on the other parallel interface it's ground, so that'll just confirm which one we're looking at.
Okay, I can do that. It said pin 23.
Yeah, pin 23 is supposed to be plus 5 volts at 200 milliamps, and pin 24 is signal ground. 25 is chassis ground.
Fortunately, they're all labeled. The connector has everything labeled on it. All the pin numbers. All right, here we go. DC, let's do power on. Let's, that works. That works. Oh, come on. Okay. Let's see if chassis ground will work here. Chassis ground may not work because I'm getting 0.2 volts on that. What was the other option for 5 volts?
It was pin 23 was the 5 volts.
Is that the only option for 5 volts?
There's multiple options for ground. 24 is signal ground.
'24 has 3.6 volts on it. But that's the chassis. I think we've had trouble with this before, where our chassis ground is not a great ground. Let me get a ground straight off of one of the caps. I feel like we've had this problem before. I feel like we've fought this where we had chassis ground not being great. So the 4,000 microfarad cap, I guess 40,000, no, 4,000 microfarad 15 volt cap, I do believe is not a negative voltage cap. The 50 volt cap, yeah, I think we're fine to clip onto that. All right, let's hook you into there. Let me check one of the ICs here. 4.86 volts. It's a little low, but that's fine.
It should do.
Yeah, okay, so what you're saying is chassis ground's got 3.6 volts on it.
So it's elevated or from signal ground?
0.2 volts on pin 20. Pin 23 is 0.2 volts.
What?
That ain't right.
Pin 24 is 3.6 volts.
I'm confused.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Can you take a picture of that connector?
Yeah. The connector pin list that you showed does not have enough pins.
Huh.
This is not a DB25. This has 37 pins on it.
37. Okay, that's a problem.
How many pins are on the little connector wire between the two boards?
Not 37. It's like 8. No, it's a little more than that.
It's not.
Maybe 12 or 16, but not 37. That's for dang sure.
Maybe there's a third parallel interface I haven't found yet.
37 in a row?
Yeah, 37 pins.
Not even supposed to be here today.
Maybe if you plug up 12 of those pins.
My problem is, where the heck do you find a DB37 or whatever it's called?
Gotta use things.
I thought it's DC 37.
There you go. Yeah, we need to get Commodore Z in here. He'll have the right answer.
He just posted it in chat.
I knew it. It's DC. There we go. All right. Commodore Z, you'll have to forgive me for not knowing this one. This is a very strange connector.
Yeah,
At least I didn't say.
is 25 pins. Everything's 25 pins in this thing. Let me check the other manual.
Shame, Isagi. Shame for not knowing. No, that's fair. It's not a super common one.
I actually second guessed myself on this Bowman video because I said the big connector on top is a 50-pin D shell, and I was like, "Oh man, is that wrong?" And I'm like, "No, it's a DD50, so that is a D shell connector." So I think it's okay to call it a D shell.
Yeah, the D shell is because it's literally shaped like the letter D. What's weird, although I've only ever seen it once, is a W shell.
Oof.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, it's imagine D shell, but there's two notches in the top of it that displace three of the pins so as to key it both directions.
No, thank you.
Thank you, sir. I will not have another.
Hey, Usagi, could you post a picture of the parallel board so we can see if it's just using like the left-hand side of the connector or something? Because everything I'm seeing in the manual is all 25 pin.
Ooh, those put out some heat. All right. Well, you can't really tell from the top. I'll have to take it out and look at the bottom. Give me a second. Get this out of the way before I trip on it. Regardless, I feel like today is still a victory.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
This is the furthest we've ever gotten, the most action we've ever seen out of this thing.
What did I say earlier about jinxing it?
Oh, we already got it on video that it moved once. That's all that matters. We proved that we did it once.
Now, and it's great.
It's fine. We've accomplished one. We've accomplished the project. Now it'd be really nice to have this thing read. Actually,
is there a part number on that interface board?
that's what I'm pulling it out for right now. I'm going to take some pictures of it, post it up for you guys. There is a part number, 316619-01. No, it uses all the pins, all 37. I am sad. I am sad to say.
It's got to be for a different model than what the manual's for.
What's interesting is that the ROM is happy with it, though. So, like, whatever checks the ROM runs, it sees something on this board that it thinks is acceptable. Here we go. Pictures coming in. Yeah, if you look on the back, you can see that 37-pin connector looks like all but 4 pins are used. No, 5, 6, 7. So 7 pins aren't used. But that's still 30 pins that are used, which is more than 25. I'm pretty sure the data is right in the middle there. It's at 8. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 14. So that probably, I don't know. I have no idea where the data is.
Yeah, that part number doesn't match the schematic that we have in the manual. The manual is like 135658. This is something completely different.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that we have no idea what pins to jumper to get it to do stuff.
Nope. Is there
Sounds
some
like-
other standard 37-pin parallel interface from back then?
No, I've never even seen a DC37 connector before.
I have okay. I have seen them, but it's on big line printers.
The only places I've seen them are different applications, either the external floppy interface for IBM PC controller cards for the floppy controller, and broadcast equipment for GPIO. So not applicable here. Oh,
Take that back. There's one other place I've seen these synchronous modems.
Okay.
My Sanders keyboard that uses one.
It's such a weird size of just use a 50-pin connector. Like just use a 50-pin ribbon cable. Or something. I don't know, like why 37? What a weird number.
Ask the people who designed it in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was picked for manufacturing tolerances.
Well, I think
use them quite a
the proper solution here is just to make a new serial card based on the schematics from the manual.
Oh, yeah, Adam just posted one that I've seen and I completely forgot about. Octopus cables. Anybody else?
This is actually, yep. Yeah, I thought those were 3 rows.
Sometimes, but he just posted a 2-row, obviously multi-port serial. So
No, that one's
I think that's where an octopus cable goes.
This is a DIO 24. So this company, they're basically GPIO cards for the PC, and they use 37-pin a lot. This is essentially just an 8255, and I think a timer as well, hooked up to the ISO bus.
So, Reese, do you have offhand a screenshot of what the actual Remex serial card looks like? I'm curious how difficult it would be just to make a new one.
Well, we definitely got the schematic for the serial.
Yeah,
And
the
for the
schematics.
parallel.
The schematics, what I'm talking about for the serial.
Yeah.
I don't need a picture of it because I'll just put the parts wherever they fit. But I'm curious how much of it we can eliminate. Like, how simple can we make the serial card?
Posted the schematic.
Oh,
on the
it's
chat.
already pretty dead simple, huh?
Yeah, it's basically just the UART and a little bit of extra logic to control the CTS and DSR pins and stuff. There's not much there. There is another schematic for a power supply, but and the current loop, but you don't know where about that.
Yeah. So I'm guessing J2 is the connector that goes to the main machine.
Yeah.
And they're listing that as a 16 pin, 15 pin. Where's the rest of J2?
Yeah, there's actually a couple more sheets of. In the technical manual, it starts on page 100.
I would say 16.
Yeah. So okay. So it is a 16-pin cable. So we know the pin out of that 16-pin cable. We know what the UART looks like. It looks like they're tying transmit and receive just together.
Yeah, the data lines are. They've also got the data lines connected to some of the things like the parity error lines and stuff, so I can read that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like it'd be a hard thing to make.
I mean, it's very similar to what I'm currently already making.
So in the technical manual, there's 3 pages for it, and the rest are like power supply and stuff. So you need to have some of that too.
This might not be so bad.
Yeah.
that 37 pin is connected to a bunch of AM26 LS31s, which are quadruple line drivers, differential line drivers. So you're going to have 2 pins for every 1 signal pin on the output.
You're talking about the parallel card, right?
Yeah.
Original item
yeah, but it's still parallel.
something.
It's not gonna give us serial. You're right. Sorry. I get focused in on that and forgot that we're looking for serial.
Yeah, I guess it's just some fun in KeyCAD. Make our own.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like how much can we eliminate, right?
Well, it does have a current loop driver as well, and we definitely don't need that.
Yeah, we can eliminate that. The clock circuit we can probably simplify if we don't care about having multiple clock frequencies.
Yeah.
Although it looks like they're using U4 is probably just a binary counter. So
yeah, that's just a divider. It's dividing it down based on the switches to whatever baud rate. So you can just put a standard crystal and a divider down to 96 and you're done.
We can probably eliminate CTS and DSR completely and just hardwire it. Like, I don't care about it. Like, if
actually,
we just...
on one of the other sheets, it does have RTS and DTR coming in as well, so we might need that too. Just paste the other 2 sheets.
Yeah, we don't care about the current loop driver. They are taking their... Wow, they're generating the plus minus 12 volts off of 26.4 and 15 volt AC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
But we could you just whack down a max 232 instead and just do it that way.
Yeah. That makes way more sense. Let's see here. Yeah, so RTS and DTR are coming in, and they are sending that into the certain data bits that are controlled by a transceiver or by a 3-state thing.
So I'll continue disassembling the ROMs to find out what it does with control signals and stuff.
Yeah, because if we can ignore RTS and CTS and whatnot, and DTR and all that, if we can get it down to just a 3-wire serial interface, we can eliminate like half of the chips on this.
Yeah.
Like if we can get it down to, heck, we don't even hardly need a max 232. I mean, a max 232 is probably the easiest way to do it. We could even get a max 233 to simplify it even further.
Might not be easier, but we just whack a USB connector on it.
With FTDI.
Yeah, we have to get the serial at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, like FTDI or a random chip like that. No, level changing. Nah.
Yeah, no, I think I think we can do this like with a UART and about 3 supporting ICs, and that's it. Particularly if we can get rid of CTS and RTS. And then I probably can't machine the boards with enough trace density to fit within the space that we're allotted. But I'll certainly try the layout if we can get it simple enough. Because if I can machine the PCB, that's that'll be fun to have my own machined PCB in there. But if we have to order it, I can just order it.
Sounds like we have a plan.
You could build a breadboard for it.
Yeah, we can
simplify
breadboard
the
it.
schematic. Put it on a breadboard and just give it a try.
Yeah, that's worth a shot too. I'm pretty sure that the pin headers I can just get like normal pin header things onto it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll call that a victory. I'm all right with that. Yeah. No discredit to Kevin, but I don't necessarily trust his serial board, and we have no clue what's going on with the parallel board, so we can't really make a decision on if any of our communication interface is working right now. But with as much functional as it is, like in order for it to pass all of its tests and to be able to have the buttons on the front behave exactly like they're supposed to behave, that says that like 95% of the system has to be functional, right?
Oh yeah.
Shouldn't you be able to put something on RWIO and RDIO signal or something like that to make something spin? This thing doesn't look like it's very smart about, I don't know, it just says, hey, I'm sending the data over, and the card will just do the work to get it out to serial.
Yeah, I mean the interface to the main board seems pretty. I mean, obviously it has to be simple because it's moving over just 16 wires.
Man, you could even, you could do something like something stupid simple, like maybe a pie in there, or I mean, if you didn't want to build a board, you could actually build a computer that would sit in between.
Yeah, I mean, we totally could, and then communicate with an Arduino via serial.
Yeah, exactly. That would be kind of cool, actually.
the most overkill UART on the planet. We're using an Arduino.
Well,
the mainframe, the director.
Isn't this thing supposed to have some kind of command language?
Yeah, the control Q and S that I've been talking about previously, that's basically the commands to start and stop and rewind and whatnot. So there's standard commands for that on the serial line.
Yeah, there was some kind of intelligence in there before.
Yeah, because it's not going all the way to the motherboard.
And aren't those basically X on, X off? It's just repurposing them?
Yeah, X on is start transmission, X off is stop. And it's the cancel for wind right and ETB or something for wind left. So they're just ASCII codes.
I mean, I kind of want to get
it just streams the data as binary as far as I can tell.
Like it's new, and I'm glad that we're getting it up and going. But I kind of want to hunt down a paper tape reader that is of the same era as the TI 980, and then also put that in the rack as the TI 980. So that way we have the TI 980, an HP oscilloscope, a paper tape reader, and it just becomes kind of like our 1972 Swiss Army knife. I think that would be cool.
You need a data specialties drives.
Yeah, now I'm going to start shopping for paper tape readers from the early 1970s. Although I don't think they would do RS-232 serial. I think we'd probably have the same problem that we have with this one, in that, it's kind of a 1972 is kind of early for RS-232.
Oh, RS-232 has been around for the 60s though. But any paper tape reader that hooks up to a computer for like loading, like the Bendix does, it's probably got its own interface.
Or current loop. Current loop was very popular. like, I mean, honestly, we don't actually need a separate paper tape reader for the TI 980 because we're going to get the ASR 33 hooked up to it, which has its own paper tape reader on it. We should get a paper tape punch hooked up to the TI 980. That makes more sense. But then again, teletype paper tape readers are painfully slow. All right, well, miraculously, we recovered that torn ribbon cable. I did not think that was going to happen, so that's amazing. So next week, if my transformer still isn't here, I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll work on Mark's oscilloscope, because I think what we're going to have to do for this is just design a new PCB, which is not something that we will have the new fully designed version of in time for next week's stream. Unless somebody wants to figure out what's up with Kevin's design and why it's not working. But there's enough bodges on here that I don't particularly trust it.
Do we have pictures of his card?
Yeah, I posted them up last week, or the week before, or the week before. I'll post up new pictures. Yeah, I've got a blank version of one of his PCBs here, so we can figure out what all the ICs are, and we could, theoretically reverse engineer it. If I can get a picture of it without an insane glare. I could also just ask Kevin for the schematic. I'm sure I could just shoot him a message. He's probably still got the file saved. But I feel like we should make the one that Remex shows. Especially if we can ditch the flow control on it. Get it down to just a 3-wire serial interface. And if we're worried about overrunning the UART, we can just slow the baud rate down to about 600 baud.
I believe this tape reader can do something like 400 characters per second.
Yeah, no, this thing can move. It's a fast tape reader. All right. I think it's time to close this guy down. Start shutting you off. Okay. It's almost 1:30 a.m. That was a successful stream, though. We actually fixed something as opposed to breaking things. For the first time in like 3 weeks, we took a step forward as opposed to backwards. If only I could get the same thing to happen with the Bowman. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go brave the cold weather outside and go to sleep. Thank y'all for joining on Twitch. Catch you next time.